Whew, I'm back, baby. Ooh, and just in time too. Let's check on the flowers. Huh? Where is everyone?
Over here.
Pikmin? What are you doing here?
You never plucked me from the ground, remember? I've been like this for nearly a year.
Oof. I'm sorry.
Yeah, it's okay. You had nothing else planned, did you?
Nope. Pikmin 2, the sequel to Pikmin. You see, it has a 2, so you know it's the second one. Pikmin 10-2.
2 captains, 2 new Pikmin,
One big adventure. While Pikmin 1 didn't do as well as Nintendo's bigger hits in terms of sales, fan reception was everywhere, so the unstoppable Miyamoto bike went ahead with a sequel. This time focusing on 2-player multiplayer.
And fixing up the Pikmin AI.
That's debatable, but we'll get to that. And so Pikmin 2 released mid-2004.
So the game begins with an explanation about Olimar's work, which is a shipping company, and a brief recap of the previous game. After he gets back to his planet, he finds the president of Hocotate Freight and Louie. After Louie had a run-in with the space rabbit, which ate all of the golden Pikpik carrots, the company had to sell some assets, including the SS Dolphin. Well, there goes some of our hard work. With the company in debt and with no means to repay it, Olimar accidentally dropped a souvenir for his kid, and it's worth a lot. So now the president sends Olimar and Louie back to the planet to collect treasures and repay the debt.
Wait, you're telling me the only thing the company has is the ship? Must be a pretty bad company. How does one eat gold carrots anyway? Upon landing, Olimar crashes his ship and Louie falls out. Again? But don't worry, they find each other again. It's all good. And that's pretty much it for the story. The gameplay is what you'd expect. You grow Pikmin, fight some enemies, make sure they don't get eaten, and gather them all up before the day is done. This time, however, rather than collecting pieces of your ship, you're collecting treasure which are, apparently, worth a lot back on the planet Hocotate, with you needing to raise 10,000 Pokos to save the shipping company from going under. And as if it wasn't obvious enough in the first game, these treasures are based on real-life items, from a Duracell battery to a Famicom Disk System game, a 7-Up bottle cap, and... this... Anyone remember the PlayStation 3 ad?
Oh boy, do I remember. So, as I mentioned earlier, there are now 2 captains to control. This comes really in handy when you're plucking Pikmin. The other captain will pluck alongside you. There are also new Pikmin to use. There are purple Pikmin who are strong. 1 purple Pikmin is like 10. They can also stun certain enemies. The other type is white. They are small and quick. They resist poison and can dig up buried treasure. They can also damage or outright defeat creatures if they are eaten. Now, we do have the returning Pikmin, the red, yellow, and blue. The yellow's got a new ability. They are resistant to electricity. However, they lost the ability to pick up bomb rocks. There is another type of Pikmin, but more on that later.
Because you're not stuck on this planet, there is no day limit anymore. I mean, you still have to get off the planet before dark, and if you leave an area too long, there'll be mold and enemies undoing your hard work. But besides that, the new Pikmin and 2 captains, there's not much difference. Well, there is one big difference. The underground. There are roughly 4 of them in each area, where you and 100 Pikmin of your choosing will go through a series of randomized levels to get more treasure, and that's it. It's basically an excuse for the developers to be a bit more creative with the level design and cram more treasures in an area. It's also here where you can maybe find a treasure that could give you a power-up, like knowing when a treasure is near, moving faster, or plucking Pikmin using your whistle, which is far more convenient than the normal way. But it's also here where you meet the bosses. Well, sometimes you don't, but, you know. Unlike the last game, they're treated more like bosses than just bigger enemies. And of course, they have a treasure because, I don't know, Fat Boy just got hungry. Also here's where you get to grow the new Pikmin. That's right, they don't even have onions of their own. You have to sacrifice a few of your own into these flowers to get them, and since they're only in the undergrounds, not to mention they go away after 5 Pikmin, you have to go to the exact place, leave, and do it all again. It's especially annoying when you need them, mostly the purple Pikmin. One of the treasures can only be carried by 100 purple Pikmin. Look how slow it is! There's also another type of Pikmin called Bulbmin. It's a Bulborb, but with a Pikmin leaf. It's immune to all the elemental stuff, and you can't bring them back to the surface. What? However, in the later ones, the difficulty spikes pretty bad. Every time I exit from the underground, I've already lost nearly 80 or so Pikmin. Bombs fall everywhere, too many enemies, a lot of water with poor AI. The Emperor Polplatz appears once as a boss, then as regular enemies, and I swear I'd never be able to beat him if not for the sacrifices of those white Pikmin. I also find the downgrade from the last game to be funny to me. But then, there's this guy, the Water Wrath. He just shows up and cannot be killed unless you have purple Pikmin, which you can't bring down to this particular place, so whoop-de-doo! I'm just getting the treasure, and then why?
I don't know what you're talking about. I don't remember a cave where you hunted down by a watery demon.
Since I'm on the topic of wolves and everything I have in my life, the yellow Pikmin are kind of overpowered. Let me explain. With the fire, water, and poison, the Pikmin will shake it off with a blow of a whistle. By the way, I've just noticed that the blue ones will save other Pikmin if they drown. Didn't know that was a thing in the last game, but cool. Electricity, however, will instantly kill your Pikmin, except for the yellow ones, which makes certain situations such a joy. TLDR, the undergrounds are hard, which is especially great when you spend more than half the game down there.
There's a couple of important things before heading down into each cave. Before entering the cave, you will see what hazards are in there, so make sure to bring the right team. Secondly, once you're down there, you cannot make more Pikmin unless you find a Queen Candy Pot Bud. It will give out 5 Pikmin of a certain color. Most importantly, if you have to exit the cave, you can do it from the pause menu, but you will lose everything you got in that cave.
Wait, back the nuggets up. What are flowers called?
Candy Pot Buds?
What kind of name is that for a flower? Also, Pikmin aren't candies. They're carrots, yeah, they're vegetables.
But that's basically the underground. Now, there is something we forgot to mention. Along the way, you'll come across plants called burgeoning spiderwort. Yes, they're really called that.
Welcome to Burgeoning Spiderwort!
They'll come in handy if you're dealing with tough creatures or bosses.
The red ones will make your Pikmin faster and stronger, while the purple ones turns the enemies into rocks.
The graphics got a great update from the first game. It looks beautiful GameCube-wise. The areas you explore look great, and fun fact, the only new area of this game is Valley of Repose. The rest of the areas are from the last game but with a season. Even the final area, Wistful Wild, is a combination of the final trial and impact site. The music is interesting when you switch captains, the tempo changes, even the Pikmin gets in on the music action. If you have 20 of every type of Pikmin, they will sing a song called Ai no Uta.
引っこ抜かれてあなただけについてゆく
Don't get me wrong, I love how it looks, but an improvement? I'm not so sure, though I'm not an expert, so But something I find weird is that most of the time, the undergrounds don't feel like undergrounds. There's like bedrooms and a garden? Where's the lights even coming from? Speaking of weird stuff, did you know that in the European version of the box, you can see a Bulborb hiding in the background? One thing I do like is at the end of each day, instead of Alamo writing in his journal, he gets emails from his boss and even his family. Aw, look at that! What a happy dude, no wonder he was so desperate to get home. Huh, looks like I've got spam. Pikmin2.nintendo.co.uk? Spam is right. Where the heck am I? Oh, and you even get Olimar detailing the enemies and treasures he finds, and literally anything he sees. There's even a ship trying to market the treasure, and Louis, explaining how to cook the creatures? Slice the meat into tender cutlets and vigorously apply a lime and pepper rub? Oh, okay dude, slow down. Once you've collected enough money to save the company, Olimar goes back home, but you forgot to bring Louis? How'd you just do that? So then he and the president go to find him. Just this whole situation. So you get to the final boss, which is a test of your skills, which is pretty cool. Or at least it would be if not for electricity killing all of the non-yellow Pikmin. You see what I mean by the yellow Pikmin being overpowered? You might as well use them for the whole boss. I like how you can even bring Louis back to the ship as treasure. And look, not even worth much. How sad. Oh yeah, the game keeps going till you've collected everything. Yeah, money is that important. Support me on Patreon. Challenge mode returns too, though it's not quite like the last game. You and a small group of Pikmin must reach the end, collect as much treasure as you can, all under a time limit. Pretty good, except for the fact that they are also really hard. And to get the secret cutscene, you have to do them all without losing a single Pikmin. Yeah, no thanks. I've got 2 Yub. So basically, while Louis was delivering the golden pick carrots, there was no space rabbit. He just got hungry and ate all the carrots. This is all your fault! Oh, and there's a versus mode where you can compete with another player. And you can also do challenge mode with a friend. I was only able to record 2 minutes of versus mode. Did you know that people complained that it didn't have online LAN support? The versus mode. On the GameCube. The one where only 8 games supported that. And that's Pikmin 2. What do I think of it? Well, you first, Pikmin 404.
It's 442.
Ah, you can't fool me this time. You're all over the internet. Now that I think about it, your brother's probably wanted.
I enjoy Pikmin 2 and it's a great sequel to a great game. While there were some things that I wish were possible, most of the things like a captain automatically plucking Pikmins got implemented in Pikmin 3. Now, I should mention that I've been playing the Wii version, which came out in 2012 in America. It's mostly the same, but with motion controls. There's one more thing we forgot to mention. In the Japanese version on GameCube, you can connect an e-reader and play some minigames by using Pikmin 2 cards. The e-reader didn't do so well here, so it was removed.
I'm gonna be honest, I didn't really enjoy this one very well. Don't get me wrong, when you're overground, it's good old Pikmin with not much to say, and I like that. It's just that the underground, honestly, sucks. Hey, maybe I'm just bad, but I really could not handle them. I was really not expecting to come out with this conclusion. I was expecting this game to make Pikmin 1 look primitive or something. It's just that one thing with potential kinda got out of hand for my taste. If you're a hardcore Pikmin fan, then by all means go for it. But I ain't me enough for this. Sorry. Of course, go for the Wii version. It has the same differences as the last one, so not much to explain. Although we did get the port 3 years earlier than the US. Eat my shorts, subscribers.
After Pikmin 2 released, we didn't hear about another game for a long while. Until 2012 at E3, when Pikmin 3 was shown off for the first time. And with the way things are going, looks like history has repeated itself with rumors about Pikmin 4. Someday.
Aw, sweet! I never get mail. How'd you set this up? Well, finally got this system working.
Like your new Dreamcast?
Who said that?
Me?
3000?
You know that 3000 is just the name of my channel, right?
That's not important. Why are you doing in my TV screen?
I'm feeling bored, so I want to collab on Sonic Adventure. Oh yeah, by the way, Sonic 06 finally finished loading. Turns out I was actually at the credits.
Really? It took that long just to load the credits?
Yeah, well, what do you expect? It's 06.
True. I guess. Just hope Shimoda doesn't mind me reviewing this without him.
Oh, I'm sure he's gonna be fine with it.
Retro!
You've changed your Gmod model again?
What do you think? Looks good?
Sonic Adventure. It's about time I talk about you. They made like the original 2D games, Heroes, and the first 2 Boost games. But this game is one that can never be denied. The first universally good 3D Sonic game.
Wait, wasn't this the first 3D Sonic game?
Well, technically there was...
No. This was definitely the first 3D Sonic game. There was definitely no 3D Sonic game before that whatsoever.
Trinity Blast!
But yeah, look how you exited on the page. You gotta include that.
Nope, I do not have any...
You can't just ignore it. Remember Sonic Twitter. Everything is canon.
I have no...
Do you not think I'll use this crowbar to hit you if you don't consider the fact that Sonic is God?
What the?
Okay, there were some Sonic games that came out before Adventure that you could technically say were 3D, but Sonic Adventure was the very first mainline Sonic game to be in 3D.
Believe it or not, the history of this game dates back as far as the Sega Gena Drive, as just another 2D Sonic game, before moving on to the 32X, and then the Sega Saturn, with the title being Sonic Extreme! Yeah! Wait, what kind of music?
What? You told me to get edgy music, so I got edgy music.
I can't even... To put it simply, development was a complete mess. Mostly due to the Saturn not being able to do 3D very well, but the team and the relationship with Sega of Japan wasn't very good. Heck, people got sick from developing the game. You can't overlook that. However, there was one glimmer of hope. The Nights engine from Nights into Dreams could possibly, maybe, make the game good. I think. Looking at betas, I have my doubts. But that didn't matter because Yuji Naka threatened to quit if they used his engine. The reason for that is because he wanted Sonic Team to make the next Sonic game. So, as one Sonic game died, another one was born. Originally as an RPG using the Night engine, good god, I'm gonna kill them. Eventually, it turned into a 3D Sonic platformer.
Is that a term?
I don't know.
And moved on to the newly Sega Dreamcast. That 3D world in Sonic Jam? That was the last prototype before moving on to the new console. And after some character redesign and all of that,
Jazz.
Sonic Adventure made its way to the Dreamcast in 1988 and 1999, 1 year before computers would destroy us all.
Thanks, Sega!
And if you're wondering, I later played the game on the PS3. Nothing else to say.
As for me, I first played the game back in 2019, around the time when I really started to become a hardcore Sonic fan.
Wait, did you play any Sonic games during your childhood?
I played the Olympics games and I enjoyed them, so yes.
Oh, fair enough. And since this is the most perfect time to talk about Sonic, think Adventure...
Big Dark Cat!
Nope! Not yet. There's a time and place.
So the story goes like this. Dr. Robotnik blows up the Master Emerald, releasing a mysterious being known as Chaos, who slaps Knuckles down the stairs. Without the power of the Master Emerald, Angel Island falls out of the sky again, and Knuckles sets out to find the missing pieces of the Master Emerald. Chaos then wreaks havoc in Station Square and is confronted by our speedy blue Sonic.
Oh yeah! This is happening!
So after a super easy boss fight that only Aaron Hansen could lose to...
How do you even know? I don't even know what to do.
Exactly right. I guess when he's doing an attack... Oh, I died.
Chaos escape and Eggman blurts the creature's name out loud, but somehow Sonic doesn't hear him, and he gets away. Aw, yeah!
So after that happens, Tails goes whee and crash lands at the beach.
Kaboom!
After Sonic finds him, turns out he has a Chaos Emerald, and he had to go to his workshop, I guess, to do something? That is until Dr. Robotonic causes trouble, steals the Chaos Emerald, and feeds it to the Chaos Monster. Turns out he's feeding him all the Chaos Emeralds to turn him invincible and destroy Station Square. Oh yeah, they live in the city. And Robotonic wants to destroy it so he can build his own version of Disney World, which we will later come to know as Eggman Lands 10 years later. So it's up to Sonic and Tails to find the emeralds before Robotonic does. For Amy, she's shopping, a bird falls from the sky, there's a robot after them both, and that's it. That's the whole plot in a nutshell. For newcomer number 1, E102 Gamma, Robotonic creates him. He exists? Some of the plots are too simple. Where's my time travel? And for newcomer number 2, we've got Big
Oh boy, everyone's favorite character! His story begins with him asleep and his beloved best friend Froggy eats a piece of chaos that somehow fell in front of Big's house. And on top of that, he eats a Chaos Emerald because he is hungry and Big is too drunk to feed him.
Oh, Froggy, I was having a great time chewing gum and kicking ass.
So Froggy runs, or hops off, I guess, and Big has to go fishing, and that's his story. Yeah, just fishing for a frog. Great job, Sonic Team! This storyline is totally relevant and meaningful to the rest of the plot. Yeah! Subscribe!
And that's the story for you. Now they do occasionally cross with each other and add some interesting developments, but the story's alright for what it is, even if some of it is just filled to introduce a new character.
So this game is the first in the series to have hub worlds, and luckily this was before Sonic Team thought that bigger meant better. Sonic 06. So as I said in my 06 review, please go watch it, the hub worlds in Adventure are very small and easy to traverse around. There's not a lot to do besides go from level to level, and thank God there are no pointless side missions.
Yeah, as far as hub worlds go, this is alright. I mean, I still prefer just going to the next stage, but it does the job well and doesn't overstay its welcome. You've got this floaty light tinny that gives you hints, as well as some of the human people who, I guess, coexist with Sonic. And yes, way better than Sonic Sandwich! Admittedly, idiot me got lost a few times from not paying attention to the screen, but moving on. As for the gameplay, well, I guess we should get on to that.
Get on with it!
Would you leave me alone?
Yes, get on with it!
God damn it! So, for Sonic's gameplay, just like the older games, all you have to do is reach the end of the stage. Usually it's a Chaos Emerald or Capsule. This time, however, it's all happening in 3D! And unlike the previous games, this actually works pretty well. The physics works mostly great. You run, you jump, you spin dash, roll, loop-de-loop, all that good stuff. You can stop completely if you go to the opposite direction. You gain speed. The homing attack from 3D Blasty's Island makes a return as a permanent move, which was a really good decision. The level design is good too. In concept, it's the 2D stages in 3D. Linear with enough room to run around, multiple paths, but the fact it's in 3D and just how well it works, it's really good. Ain't perfect though. Sometimes these fun moments require you to be precise, so you don't bump and ruin the moments. And there are some minor annoyances here and there, but in general, I enjoy playing as Sonic in his stages.
I agree. Sonic is very fun to play as and very satisfying to control. If you ask me, this is probably the best he has controlled ever in a 3D game. Also, you can abuse the power of the spin dash if you feel like it. Also, another thing I want to mention about Sonic stages is that there's always a dash pad in front of a loop, meaning that you no longer have to worry about building up momentum to get past them like in the 2D games. And sadly, this carries over to every 3D game going forward.
So anyway, next up we have Tails. He's mostly the same as Sonic, except you can fly instead of doing homing attacks. Well, that and you have to race Sonic to the goal for some reason. Doesn't really make sense except for the last level where you race Robotonic, but anyway. Because of this, you can take shortcuts and stuff thanks to Tails' flying ability. Well, again, it doesn't make much sense story-wise. This is a really interesting gameplay style. I really like this. And at least he doesn't drop to the ground like a tank. Oh, and he has a Tails attack. Cool.
Next up we have Knuckles. He plays very differently compared to Sonic and Tails since his levels are more about treasure hunting. These levels are more focused around exploration than speed. This might sound like a pace breaker, but these stages can actually be finished very quickly. You have a radar which shows you where the emerald pieces are, and somehow if that isn't helping, this red ball of light will show you where to go. Knuckles can also climb and glide just like in Sonic 3K. By the way, for those of you who don't know, that's just what I call Sonic 3 and Knuckles for short.
Then there's Amy. Just like Knuck Knucks, her gameplay is more slower paced. She has this robot called Zero who is chasing after her, so she has to try to outrun it, hit him with her hammer, or hide like Metal Gear Sonic. It's fine, I guess. I mean, it could work a little better and... well, yeah, she's not as fast as Sonic, but... I don't know, I don't have much fun playing as her.
Yeah, I will agree that Amy is not the best character to play as, and I wouldn't exactly say that I look forward to playing as her every time I play the game, but her gameplay style at least works and she still plays way better than her 06 counterpart.
How do we keep coming back to 06?
Next up we have E102 Gamma, another character who I wouldn't say I particularly enjoy playing as, but I don't hate either. And as Retro said, his story doesn't really add much plot-wise, although I will say it is cool.
So what do you do in Gamma's stage again?
Oh, it's simple. You shoot things.
So basically, you have to shoot as many tins as you can while getting to the goal to increase your time. And personally, I don't know why, but I had fun with him. It's also something the fans wanted. Shoot 'em ups in a Sonic game. Blame the fans for this. But then...
Big the cat! 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 Big the cat!
Oh, it's a windy and sunny day!
So, Big the Duke Nukem Cat. His gameplay is fishing for Froggy, and that's it. Honestly, the concept isn't all bad. It's supposed to be chill and everything, but it just wasn't executed well. Froggy never wants to take the lure. Other fishes try to bite too, and keep in mind they're pointless unless you want to 100% the game. And if the lure breaks, and let me tell you, the lure is gonna break if you're too rough, you lose a life. It don't matter how many rings you have, you're dead. Should've brought an extra rod, my boy.
Yeah, Big hit. Hi, Homer! Yeah, Big is hands down the worst character in the game. His levels just aren't that fun, to be honest. And mind you, you have to play his story to get to the final story. I mean, they're not the hardest thing in the world, but again, they're just not that fun. Also, later on, you get upgrades such as the floaties so you can sorta swim right next to Froggy!
Smells like Froggy's around somewhere.
Anyway, not sure when else I'm gonna bring this up, so there's also power-ups. They're alright, I guess. Tails can fly further, Knuckles can dig into the ground, Sonic has this lightspeed dash that lets you zoom across a trail of rings once you've charged the spin dash. Some of them are useless, like the lightspeed dash to destroy enemies, and Knuckles' yellow gloves that I don't really know what it's supposed to do. So about the levels. Now I won't talk about all of them, just nearly all of them. I'm great at doing videos. Let's start off with Emerald Coast. It's a pretty good first stage, and there's a reason the beach setting has been reused in Sonic 06 and Heroes.
Yeah, this is a really fun and iconic opening level.
Not sure why killer whales are attacking Sonic.
Really? It's pretty obvious why the whale attacks Sonic. To sell Dreamcasts!
Then there's Casinopolis. Oh dear. All you do is get enough rings to reach the Chaos Emerald by going into pinball machines. Look, I like Pinball Sonic as much as the next fan, but not when you're required to do it. And it takes forever and a lot of luck to get enough. No amount of nights will make this better.
Ice Cap. Not Ice Cap, Ice Cap. I love the snowboarding part, and again, way better than Sonic 06.
God, I can't wait for the film.
Yeah. Rolling around at the speed of sound. Twinkle Park is pretty good too. I really like the bumper cars.
Bumper cars, bumper cars, bumper cars.
Trust me, it's good.
Speed Highway is my personal favorite. Nothing but high speed action, and that section where Sonic runs down the building like a boss. Love it.
Agreed.
I hate Skydeck.
Really? Why?
It's just so slow and confusing and all of its gravity. I'm glad Tails' part is shorter. Screw Knuckles' version though.
I'm gonna be honest, I don't mind this level at all. Okay, I will agree that the anti-gravity stuff is annoying, but this level isn't that confusing to me. And overall, it isn't that bad in my opinion.
Lost World, not Lost World, Lost World. I mean, I like the concept and all, but the puzzles and stuff? I don't know, I probably just suck at it. And that's all we really have to say. For the bosses, well, there's not much to say. They do the job well.
To start off, we have the aforementioned Chaos Zero boss fight. That is super easy and nobody could ever possibly lose to it. And then we have Chaos 4, Chaos 6, Chaos 2, Chaos 4 with Tails, Chaos 4 with Knuckles. You get it. Oh yeah, and the characters actually get to fight each other. Reality is often disappointing.
Oh no.
Big gets a boss fight too. Fish for Froggy. Why? There's also a few side stuff to do, like this racing game or the tornado sections. That one's just okay.
And if you really want to replay the Sandopolis level with Sonic, well, here you go. Next thing to mention is the Chow Garden. Okay, I'm just gonna come out and say this, but I did not care for the Chow Garden.
What? Why? Come on, seriously, it's great, you know?
I did not care for it.
Well, why?
Okay, people say that it's great, and I'm sure it's actually great. I'm not saying it's like badly designed, I just can't get into it.
How? Come on, it's so good. I mean, like, it's not pointless. It's not pointless. It's great. It's great, and it's totally not
it's
fan
so
subjective for its own game.
It's so time consuming. You have to put a lot of time into raising a Chow, and I don't know.
I mean, come on, it's better than taking an actual child.
I can't even get any of my Chow stats, but past level 1.
You didn't spend so much time. Well, why do you spend so much time on
Well, the
Mortal
kids
Kombat, then?
talk
Why
it
do you
out.
spend so much-
These new species, known as chows, are kinda like Tamagotchis. You feed them food, care for them, make them breed because I need something on my plate, and make them race. You can even use the animals you rescued in the main game as stats boosts. And for when you're not using your Dreamcast, you can send them to the VMU memory card and let them go on adventures, find fruits, and battle bullies, because it's a dog eats dog world out there and you've got to be on top of the food chain. And you can even get them cute little messages. Yay! Now, I don't really have the time and patience for these, since growing them up takes a long time. And the channel adventure takes up all of the memory! Why? Why?
So as for the visuals, they look pretty damn good for a Dreamcast game. The environments look decent, but the character models have weird facial expressions and the lip syncing is horrible.
You're right, my friend, so here we go!
And need I mention that we got games such as Crash Bandicoot, the first Spyro, and even freaking Mortal Kombat 4 had better lip syncing.
It's over, Jarek. Shinnok is dead. The good guys won. You're coming back with me.
Never, Sonya. I agreed to help defeat Shinnok.
This game is the first in the series, not counting CD because that one sucks,
Hey!
to have voice acting. Sonic is voiced by Ryan Drummond, who Shimoda for some reason mistook for Deadpool in the Sonic Colors review.
What's my favorite Sonic voice? Simple. Ben Schwartz and Ryan Reynolds.
I see you've chosen death!
In my honest opinion, Ryan is the best voice for Sonic. He just fits the role perfectly. He really makes Sonic sound like a youthful and energetic teenager. Now, this being his first go at voicing the character, his acting isn't great, but he does improve in the later games he's in. And he also reprises his role in Sonic and Tails R by Emmy Jones, and after all these years, he's still got it. So yeah, once again, Ryan Drummond will always be the best Sonic voice to me. I also like Dean Bristow as Dr. Eggman, I like how he makes Robotnik sound like a threatening villain. Although I do prefer Mike Pollock's more comedic approach for the character, and Jim Carrey because he's Jim Carrey. As for the rest of the voices, they're okay at best and not so great at worst.
Yeah, the voice acting isn't very good. Coming from me, that's saying something. I mean, I'm gonna give some credit. It's the first proper time we've got voice acting in a Sonic game. But I've seen plenty of other games with way better voice acting and lip syncing, especially the lip syncing. The reason it's this bad is because they use generic placeholder animation for all of the talking unless someone is sad or shocked. Oh, and the rest of the game looks alright. Pretty good. I do like the redesigns for Sonic & Co. I mean, Sonic looked cute and all, but they look really neat and urban. Apparently, it was inspired by the redesigns of Mickey Mouse and Pac-Man. The redesigns of Pac-Man.
Yeah, I definitely prefer Sonic's redesign. It does make him fit better in 3D, and I think it makes him look cooler, which fits his personality much better.
As for the music, it's happening now.
You can say that again.
Since the music in previous games were iconically great, Sega wanted to ensure that stayed the case. So enter Crush Forcey, formed by Jun Sonone, who helped out with the music in Sonic 3 and Knuckles, and Johnny Gioli. And boy did they deliver! Their lyrical pieces are amazing. All of them! Man! As for the rest of the soundtracks, well, some of them aren't as good as the 2D games, but what's there is still really good, especially Speed Highway. Woo! And look at that, they've even reused Sonic 3D Flicky's Blast's music. Nice job, you guys.
Yeah, this soundtrack kicks ass. Some of my favorite songs in the game include Emerald Coast, Twinkle Park, Windy Valley, and Be Cool, Be Wild, Be Groovy. As for the vocal themes, they're great too. Sonic's theme, It Doesn't Matter, fits his character perfectly. Tails' song is very uplifting and I love bopping to Knuckles' theme song. Here I come, rougher than the rest of them, the best of them, tougher than leather. You can call me Knuckles, unlike Sonic I don't chuckle, I rather flex my muscles. So yeah, the vocal themes in this game for the most part are great. But I have to ask, what the is up with Amy's song?
Of course, not everything is amazing. I do have my own issues. I've already brought up the animation and lip syncing, but then there's Robotonic repeating his lines during boss battles.
Get a load of this! Get a load of this! Get a load of this! Get a load of this!
And he does this again in Sonic Heroes!
The camera in this game isn't very good either. I mean, plenty of other games had not so good cameras too, but Sonic Adventure is noticeably worse. Like, it's really bad. And there are some minor glitches that sometimes break the flow. Mostly when you bump into a wall while going fast. And that's about it for the issues we have with the game, honestly.
Yeah, it's still fun and playable, but it's there. And then there's the other characters I've mentioned. Again, they're alright, but nowhere as fun as Sonic and Tails. Even so, Sonic's part does end a bit more quickly than I'd like. I mean, the other characters are shorter, but I wish there was more Sonic to do. That's why I like Spyro 3 so much. There are other characters to play as, but it's not very often, and you still get enough of Spyro to enjoy the game. Not to mention, the other characters were fun too, aside from Agent 9. Hey look! Metal Sonic. Hey look! Another Metal Sonic. Cool.
So to summarize all the storylines in the game, Tails learns that he needs to stand up for himself since Sonic won't be around forever. Tails defeats Robotnik, Sonic defeats Robotnik, Knuckles restores the Master Emerald, Gamma blows up, Amy saves some birds from robots, and Big catches a freaking frog.
Oh yeah, and Big escapes the egg carrier by flying the tornado!
Hey big guy.
Hey little guy.
Can you tell me who came first?
Sorry, but I don't know. We are simply natural.
So as it turns out, Chaos was never actually fully defeated, and he betrays Eggman. Man, that guy needs to pick his allies more carefully. Chaos manages to get his hands on all 7 emeralds and becomes his final and ultimate form, Perfect Chaos! Chaos floods the entirety of Station Square and the city is basically destroyed. So doesn't that technically mean that Robotnik won and can build Robotnik Land now? Robotnik decides that since Chaos betrayed him earlier, he needs to get rid of him.
That's right, take my super laser
Oh no!
Yeah, that didn't go too well. After all hope seems lost, everyone manages to gather all the Chaos Emeralds, even though they seem to have been stripped of their power. But oh no, Tails explains that Chaos only used the negative energy of the emeralds, and that Sonic can use their positive energy. Okay. So Sonic does just that and becomes Super Sonic.
So now we've got the second Super Sonic boss fight coming after Sonic and Knuckles. All you have to do is get enough speed to reach his horn, and you keep doing that. It's alright, honestly. Not bad, but just not feeling too much of the vibes. It's also really annoying when you just can't make the speed. But then, the music. Oh boy, the music. Open Your Heart makes way for such great classic Supersonic boss fight themes.
Can't hold on much longer,
But I will never let go.
I know it's a one-way track.
Tell you now how long this will last.
I'm not gonna think this way.
Nor will I count on others.
Close my eyes and feel the burn.
Now see what I gotta do.
Open your heart, it's gonna be alright.
Once Super Sonic defeats Perfect Chaos, he then apparently turns him good again. What?
Yeah, earlier on in the story, we learned that Chaos turned evil because the Echidna tribe were trying to steal the emeralds for world domination. And Chaos murdered them all except for one called Tikal, who sealed herself and Chaos inside a Mass Emerald. Yeah, that red light. But whatever, Super Sonic made him goody, Chaos and Tikal, I guess goes back to plant potatoes.
All's well that ends well, right?
Do you not see the f***ing city?
And that's Sonic Adventure. What do we think of it? 3000? That's your cue.
Well, in my honest opinion, while this game hasn't aged the best in some areas, I still find it enjoyable. Sonic's levels are fun as hell, I like Tails and Knuckles' levels, and the soundtrack, just like every other Sonic game in existence, is an absolute banger. The other characters, while not great gameplay wise, are still tolerable and nowhere near awful in my opinion.
For Sonic's first real 3D game, it's pretty good. Sonic's still fast and mostly controllable. The level designs are great. The plot is honestly a mess. Same goes for the acting and animation. Most of the characters are good, and the music is so freaking good. Overall, a good game. Now maybe I went a little harsh when I compared it to Spyro 3. Most of the characters are fun enough to play as, and are a good different gameplay break for the most part. It's just that I wish there was more Sonic to call its own game. But besides all of that, I had a really good time with this game. Unfortunately, the Dreamcast didn't last very long, so Sega became a third-party company, meaning there will be Sega games on other consoles, like a freaking port of Sonic Adventure on the Nintendo GameCube! Also, Director's Cut? Was this cut content? This game doesn't actually do too much. The models are based after Sonic Adventure 2, the lighting's all different, textures have been replaced, it runs smoother, pretty much an enhanced port. However, while it fixes glitches here and there, somehow it adds its own. Like this part for example, and the music is a bit too loud for some reason.
You gotta come over to my workshop, Sonic. I've got something I've gotta show you.
Tails, I can't hear you. You're gonna what?
It did add some new things. You can send your child to the Game Boy Advance instead of the VMU to play this tiny child garden minigame. There's a mission mode for more emblems. Okay, if you collect enough of them, you can unlock some Game Gear games. That's kinda cool, but Mega Collection Plus and Gems Collection are still way better. And if you collect all of the emblems, which means doing this under a time limit, no thanks, you can unlock a Metal Sonic skin for some time trials. Well, unlike Metal Sonic, so cool. Now to just use my action replay. Yeah.
Wait a minute, are you cheating, Retro?
No. They did also port that version to the PS3 and Xbox 360, and the 360 version is playable on the Xbox One and Series X. It's pretty much a straight port right down to the 4x3, but it's a more convenient way to get the game than the Dreamcast or GameCube. Wait a minute! What'd you just do?
Oh yeah, you can do this to the first boss.
You can do that?
You didn't know about it?
No! Well, since I'm off topic at this point, did you know that the original Dreamcast game had DLC? Yeah. You could go to the website and download some random stuff, like banners and holiday themes. Shout out to GameFan14 on Twitter. If it wasn't for him, I would never have known about this. I'm still having a hard time processing all of it. Oh yeah, and Player 2 can control Tails, just like Sonic 2. I forgot to put this in the script, so this is last minute. Well, I guess that's it. Thanks for joining in, and thanks for the Dreamcast. Oh, and sorry for eating the chicken nuggies.
Don't worry about it. Anyways, I gotta go see how well my Sonic 06 review did, so see ya.
Well, I'm glad to hear that he's finally done his 06 review on his Nintendo Switch. Sonic 06 on Nintendo Switch. Wait a minute!
You really are an idiot, you know that, Retro? Not that great compared to other fighting games. And the fact that it has that somehow Katana's low kick is not even a low kick, and she's just somehow bending gravity, it's so weird. And that is why Mortal Kombat 9, no, also all Nintendo Studio games has terrible animations. So what do you think of my presentation?
Well, yeah, I guess. I'm sorry, Brian. It's just 3000.
Chill out, mate.
Don't cheer up, mate, me. And why have you changed your Gmod model again?
Well, technically you're using a sprite for me right now, so really you can't say I'm using that model.
I don't care!
Well, you see, Retro, I am a complicated person. It's just part of my charm. So, you wanna play Sonic Adventure 2 or something? We were supposed to collab on the first one, because someone took my spot early.
Well, you got me there. Fine, but make one more TF2 joke and I'll send you straight to hell.
Good day, mate.
Roll the review. Surprise, surprise, Sonic Adventure sold well. Well enough for a sequel to start development right after the English version was released. This time, Sonic Team USA wanted to take the first game's strongest points and fine-tune them. In addition to 60 frames per second and having more experience with the Dreamcast than before. There wasn't much development history other than Shadow missing an eye. And then the game was revealed at E3 2000, also announced being the last main Sonic game before discontinuing the Dreamcast. Sad stuff. And then the game was released in June 2001, just in time for the 10th anniversary. And for my history, it's the same as SA1.
Well, same for me, I guess.
So, which game do we prefer? SA1 or SA2? Honestly, I've been wondering that for a while, so let's find out. So the story is split between 2 rather than 6 per character, which I'll be damned. It's good when you don't see the same Knuckles 3 times. For the hero's side, Sonic is arrested by the police, or GUN, for reasons. What is it with characters and getting arrested? What's wrong with you guys? And then Sonic breaks free and falls from the sky, only to later meet another hedgehog named Shadow, who is holding a Chaos Emerald and is monologuing.
It all starts with this. A jewel containing the ultimate power.
Turns out the gun has mistaken Shadow for Sonic. Somehow. Shadow teleports using the Chaos Emerald because I guess you can do that now. And Sonic is behind bars again. We then cut to Knuckles and another new character called Rouge the Bat, arguing over each other because she wants to steal the Mass Emerald. Then Dr. Eggman tries to steal it, Knuckles breaks it, and they both go looking for pieces of the Master Emerald. And not a single mention about Angel Island. Throughout the rest of the story, you've got Tails and Amy, and Knuckles for a bit, helping Sonic. Eggman at some point destroys the moon, and so they go looking for the Emerald. There's more to it, but that's the basic plot.
But that's only one side of the story. Let's look at the dark side. Dr. Eggman breaks into the gun base to find his grandfather's secret weapon. But it turns out that Shadow was the secret weapon all along. Shadow tells Eggman to meet him in the space colony ark, but not before stealing the Chaos Emerald and framing Sonic. As for why Shadow is like this, well, 50 years ago, Shadow lost his friend Maria, who was killed on the ark, and well, Shadow promised... No, I'm gonna say the line. I promised you, Maria. Pizza!
Okay, I'll clue that.
Eggman arrives on the ark, and Shadow introduces the Eclipse Cannon, which can destroy a planet with all 7 Chaos Emeralds. But Rouge was eavesdropping and offers to help. Rouge was the... Rook!
I am Rook!
But Rouge was eavesdropping and offers to help the Dark Edge Lord and the Eggman. So that's the story in a nutshell! Now, this does have plot holes, but not as many as Combat 9. So anyway, we're gonna move on to gameplay, because I want to move on to gameplay.
Before we do that, it has been a while, and I'm worried about getting rusty, so I better watch the tutorials. He's had too much caffeine. Oh no. The pause menu is in French. But is that the Luigi Death Stare?
Here's how to get the nuts.
Now, unlike the last game, there are no hub worlds. You watch a cutscene and you move on to the next level. Me like.
I disagree. I like the last game's hub worlds. It gave a bit of life to the world aside. But at the same time, I can understand why people don't like it. It's very confusing. You may not know where the hell the next stage is, or where the upgrades are. And, well, yeah, that's fair arguments. But to be fair, I also have issues with hub worlds. When they are the f***ing menu, Dragon Ball Fighter C! Oh yeah, Blaze Blue Arm. I didn't forget to include you.
So when we talk about the playable characters, they mostly play similar to their evil counterparts. Sonic plays like Shadow, Tails plays like Eggman, and Knuckles plays like Rouge. So I won't be going over them both because they play exactly the same.
I'll start with Sonic and Shadow. Naturally, their stage is all about speed, and well, it's the most fun part of the game. They have the spin dash, the homing attack like the last game, there's this somersault. Why? Basically the spin dash, but slower, breaks boxes, and goes through tight obstacles. Oh, and there's the loopy-loops. I don't have much to say, whatever, moving on, Retro, go and take over.
Yeah, Sonic is still really fun to play as in his levels. His controls are a little less loose than in last game, and the levels aren't as open, but I'd say that's for the better. Less glitches, and, well, you're mostly going in a straight line when you're going fast. I will say I do have my own issues. The somersault is mapped to the spin dash button, meaning if you want to do a spin dash, you have to hold down the button for a second, otherwise you'll do this. And it's really annoying when it happens because this move is pretty much useless. I mean, to be fair, the spin dash was a little overpowered in the last game, so this does balance it out a bit. But I just wanna have fun! The rest is good. Oh, and you can also grind rail. I nearly forgot about that. Pretty much, if you can keep a good balance, you can get a lot of speed and do some cool tricks with the jumping. Actually, Sonic shoes are different too. This is because of a promotion with sub shoes, which are shoes you can grind with. Pretty fitting. Ha! Get it? Because they're shoes and you can put them on? Tsushimoto, please.
Ah, yeah, let's do this! Hey, yeah, go!
Then we have Tails and Eggman. Tails is using his Tornado 2 as a battle suit thingy. It's weird. Basically, their gameplay is like Gamma, but a little worse. Aiming while moving is bad. Actually, yeah, that's pretty much the only thing that I find annoying. Well, they're fine, but I just don't have as much fun as I'd like. Again, Tails. Eggman, I can see how, but why Tails? I mean, he wasn't originally planned and all, but why this?
In my opinion, Tails and Eggman's gameplay is something I wouldn't mind, but trying to move and aim in this game is pain in my ass. And for crying out loud, you got it right in the last game, guys. Oh, but my favorite part. You know what my favorite part of this is?
Okay.
No, this music sounds great. My ears bleed for some reason.
Okay.
And then there's these two. Their gameplay is like Knuckles from SA1, and now, you think it will be fine. It'll be just like the last game, right? Wrong! Well, you see, people, the problem is the radar. In Adventure 1, we had all 3 radars online. If you were near, like, the second piece, well, radar 2 will be going off. Look at these split. I mean, it'll tell you, hey, you're near a piece. But Adventure 2, oh no, it doesn't.
Green Giants.
But in Adventure 2, you might be near the second one. But oh no. Radar 2 is offline because you need to get the first piece. Then once you got that, then Radar 2 will be online. So then you'll see where the second piece was. Once you got that, then you got the last piece, and then you know what happens. Joy, right?
Yeah, this is honestly not really fun. The first game was perfect. Why change it? Because they were too quick? Because we need 30 minutes per level? And it doesn't help that the levels are a little bigger too. Meaning you could search every path only to find the first piece on your last path. Then you gotta do all of that again painfully. And those call hints that show you the direction? Now you've got hint boxes that give you clues at a cost of a better score. Well, at least he controls the same. So on to the levels. City Escape.
Rolling around at the speed of tramp.
This is a really fun stage. The only one with lyrics by Crush 40, Speedy, Grind Railing, and a big dumping gun truck trying to kill us.
America! But skateboarding is cool, right, man?
Hey, Vanilla, look out! There's a truck coming! Uh-oh, he can't hear me. He's listening to Airbud on Audible.com. Ironically, the truck was a Dodge.
And however, another fun stage of Sonic's. We got explosions, a rocket, home and attack practice, the light speed dash, cars that break down! Okay, that last part was not there. And these guys who can't find the light speed dash upgrade.
Riddle me this, Batman! Why can't you find the light speed dash? Get out my review!
After an epic boss fight, the island's about to blow up and then we enter the next level. Green Forest, like green giants.
That joke's already been used!
And there's a time limit, so that means we need to pack our stuff and we're going to Ferris!
Ferris!
Leave it in. You know what? Leave it in. F it. Let's leave that one in. One is another high-speed Sonic stage, with the forest and fire making it feel like you're going in circles, and the music telling you to hurry the f up. It makes getting out of here more urgent. It makes it really good and adds tension. Oh, and there's Shadow's version. It's fine.
Aquatic Mine. Screw this level! I cannot for the life of me find the stupid pace! And how was I supposed to know you could open this? Ah! Media HUD. It's also just crazy gadgets. I like the gravity stuff. It's alright. Also, is that chaos? Final rush. A lot of grind railing. Love it. It's a little tricky, but it's good.
Radical Highway. It's a very fun Shadow stage. Really like it. I f***ing hate the Tails version because he's f***ing slow and... Oh, one more thing. The last stage for Sonic and Shadow, respectively. No!
Egg quarters. I hate this! And these mice are just... Security Hall. There's a time limit now! Ow! Oh, look. I did it on my first try. Cool. Mad Space. Now there's flying rocks and Mario Galaxy. Except it's not because it sucks! And the tips are backwards now, just why? And that's really all we have to say about them. I know, not a lot, but most of them are pretty good, but not much else to say. And Tails and Eggman stages are slow, and that's about it. Not really too important.
But Retro! Why are the upgrades in Sonic Adventure 2?
I'm getting to it. Since there's no hub worlds, you find them in the stages themselves. They're just about the same as the last game. The Lightspeed Dash is so much better. All you have to do is push a button and off you go. It's great when it works. I repeat, when it works. The bounce bracelet is... well, it's good. Better than 06, but it's good. And, the one where you turn a robot into an orb. And, oh no, not you.
I don't mind it being in the stage or hub world, but I can understand why some people may not be able to find them, even if it's f***ing obvious. Come on guys, the lever's right next to the rings in plain sight.
So for the bosses, some are interesting, others aren't. The character fights are a little more interesting, but not by that much.
I'm the coolest.
Same, some bosses are interesting and others are not. The rival bosses can range from being okay to no. Hey Retro, you gonna do Chow Garden again? Because I don't care.
Yes indeed. The Chows are back. Chow? Chow with an S is chaos. This mode has seen a lot of improvements. Say hello to Marty and Bim. There's more races, you can collect chaos drives from the gun machines, which is a really nice detail. And they can evolve too, depending on who- wait, is that Tails off his mech? And... Eggman? Anyway, depending on which character you play as, they can turn into a Hero Chow or a Dark Chow. I tried the latter, but I used the hero characters too much, so he turned into a neutral Chow. Oops. And even the new Chow Adventure 2 has improved. There's a lot less fighting and a lot more very, very deep stories. I wasn't able to record this, but my chat asked me what the meaning of life was, and I said I didn't know, and then he went in a whole speech, Sonic and the Black Knight style, about living life to the fullest. Like, dude, what? Oh, and he also wants to be known as the Walker. Maybe I should change my movie titles. However, now it takes up all of the memory. There's no free space now! Don't ask about the Capcom logo. I don't know how, but I refuse to delete it. Oh, you also enter the Child Garden by finding a key in the stages, and that's it. A bit pointless, but still way better than Sonic Heroes special stages.
Are you done taking care of your child, Retro? We need to talk about multiplayer. Yeah, SA2 has multiplayer, but not like the last game. I am serious, I did not even know there was multiplayer in the last game. It's basically who will come out on top. Fight! You can choose from rolling around at the speed of sound, guns, no, and my little god! Woohoo!
This is obviously based on the Sonic 2's versus mode. They're pretty fun, especially with the right people. The recent one sucks though. It's just bad.
Are you done talking about stuff, Retro? Let's go racing now, Retro.
And stick around, got the fences over there. I move to points where the heck I need to go next.
Well, let's talk about the presentation. Starting with the animation, while I'm not an expert, I at least have an eye for detail. Unlike you, NetherRealm Studios. Now back to Sonic Adventure 2. Starting with the cutscenes, they got a major improvement, as they are now motion capture, compared to using in-game animation like the last game. But it's double-edged sword for a simple and obvious reason. Just look at these character designs. Simply put, the Sonic characters are not human-shaped whatsoever. I mean, not even Eggman looks human-shaped. He's an egg. Now, motion capture can work, but not every character is suited for this, as it can lead to weird clip-in moments. Mind rolling the clip? Now, possibly Sonic Team could motion capture all of it and make it fit the character proportions. That would be a Nightmare on Elm Street hell level, so I don't think Sonic Team is ready to kill themselves yet. Still, I guess it's better than using the in-game animations, which, you know, those mouths. In terms in-game animations, though, I think it's a bit weird and might not be perfect. Like Sonic's walking cycle, which is like, no thanks. Or when Sonic is running too fast. It doesn't look pleasant in 60 frames per second, but when slowed down, it looks kinda fine. And Rouge looks like she's walking too fast. That is not running lights. Tails and Eggman, they're fine. Minus the part where Tails is turning his neck backwards. So, what's your take, Retro? I'm gonna sit out.
I think it's a whole lot better than the last game. Thank God. I mean, yeah, the motion capture doesn't work very well with them, but that's something I can look past. The animations... what happened? Sonic's mostly fine, but it's a noticeable downgrade. And why is Knuckles on 7-Up Mushroom Energy? And the spin jump, he doesn't really curl into a ball? He rotates? What? I mean, they don't ruin the game or anything, but... What? Oh, and the rest of the game looks fine. It's Dreamcast, so there's not much to say. Sonic has fingers now. Oh, and the new shoes look cool on him too. Actually, since he's got them soapy shoes, there's now a lot of product placements. Kinda funny. Is that Sonic 2 pizza? Pizza! Here's another thing that's a lot better. The voice acting. Ryan Johnson does a much better job here than... Oh yeah! As for everyone else, slightly better, and the new ones are pretty good. However, the lip syncing is very, very, very bad. This time, the Japanese version is alright. It's just that they didn't bother to change the animation or the English script to match the length. Leading to...
I came here following the signal from the Emerald. If I'm not mistaken, this is the Master Emerald.
Yeah. Not only that, everyone talks over each other. It's like PAL 60 frames Sonic Heroes, only way, way worse.
Is everyone alright? We should be landing soon.
The hatch doors are open.
Don't sweat it, Knuckles. The only thing in the cargo bay are those
What do you
master
mean, don't
emeralds.
sweat it?
Right?
Land the
Knock
shuttle
it
and
off,
let
knock
me
it
out.
off.
Yeah, I think the voice acting is fine. Bit of an improvement from the last game. The lip syncing is questionable at times. I mean, they fixed it, but not for the stuff anyway. And dear God, whenever those characters overlap, end my misery! Just please, God, give me something good to talk about! Oh yeah, that hits the spot. Once again, Jun Sano returns to compose for Sonic Adventure 2. We got some bangers here like Metal Harbor, Green Forest, Radical Highway, Crazy Gadget, and some other ones. And even the cutscenes, I know, sounds weird to say, the cutscene music's good. And there's also Blaze Blue with its cutscene music and its music.
Why? But yeah, the music in the last game was pretty good. But oh no! Sonic Team wanted you to remember every stage with its music! I especially like how each character has their own music team. Like Sonic is speedy in action, Tails is a little happy, Rouge is jazz, and Knuckles has rap in every single stage. And the main teams are really good. Live and Learn is better in my opinion. Sonic's team I prefer here over SA1 since it's more faster and I think it fits them more. I like Tails SA2's teams better, and Knuckles, well, I really love the new beat, but I do prefer the lyrics in the first one just a little bit more. Also, it sounds like one of those overclocked remixes on YouTube, and I like that. And Amy's team is the same flippin' one. She's not even playable, so I don't want to. Oh, while I'm here, I decided to listen to her team, and I have no idea what a Spindex was, so I decided to look it up. A Spindex is a mythical creature with a head of a human and the body of a lion with the wings of a falcon. In Greek tradition, the Spindex has a head of a woman, the harsha, whatever that's called, of a lion, and the wings of a bird. She is mythized as treacherous and merciless, and will kill and eat those who cannot answer her riddle. What? I do have my own flaws with the game, mostly ones I've already mentioned. I really hate the extreme downgrades of Knuckles and Rouge, and some of those levels... Tails and Eggman aren't that bad, but it's a notable downgrade from Gamma. And I get it, Tails was added in late, but if you had the time to have him out of his mech, then... dude. Even Sonic and Shadow have their not so good moments. Don't get me wrong, a lot of fun. Just sometimes the somersaults just make him bad. Oh, and the camera. It's alright for the time. Then we have the cutscenes. There's the characters overlapping each other, but then there's the music being too loud again. Thankfully not with lyrics, but wow.
I'm the world's ultimate life form. There's no time for games. Farewell.
Also, this is probably not a good example since my capture card really does not like lighting with the old consoles. But even with a CRT TV, the shells are unnecessary sometimes. Ha! Also, the script writing could be a bit better, but to be fair, without it, we wouldn't have gotten the moments. Maria, I promised you sausages! However, it's really fun to pull off some of the glitches. Yeah? You're not so tough now, are you? Also, this bit isn't really an issue per se, but in the last game, Dr. Robotnik was nicknamed Eggman by Sonic and crew, but in this game, he calls himself Dr. Eggman from now on? I mean, I know he was called Dr. Eggman in Japan, but Sega, please explain.
I already mentioned it, but Sonic and Shell's last stage, and the somersault. At least the somersault was removed in future Sonic games.
So, ending time. We've beaten either Sonic or Shadow in a honestly annoying fight.
I hate this boss fight! Then again, I'll take it over Shao Kahn from Combat 9.
If you beat the Halo story, Sonic puts the fake Chaos Emerald in the cannon to... hold on, let me go back a second. On the Ark, Tails creates a fake Chaos Emerald somehow that's like any other Chaos Emerald, but once near the other emeralds, it explodes or something like that. But Eggman catches onto that and sends Sonic to space to explode. But somehow, Sonic manages to use Chaos Control to walk back inside the Ark. What? You've seen it once. How do you... Anyway. If you beat Dark's story, Eggman gets to the cannon, letting it fire, and then the final story happens.
So with all 7 Chaos Emeralds in the cannon, it does not blow up the Earth. Instead, the Ark is heading straight towards the Earth. Well, Gerald held a grudge against the world. You know, it was the military's fault. Because, you know, they killed Maria, and so the world is gonna feel his despair.
So now everyone's in trouble. Until Rouge remembers that the Master Emerald has the power to neutralize the Chaos Emeralds. So by working together, they plan to reach the core to stop this whole thing from happening. And then enter a pretty long, slightly annoying, but alright final stage. Shadow is seen not helping because screw the world, until Amy talks to him, causing him to remember Maria's promise. For some reason. Turns out she wants him to protect humanity, not destroy them. Oh, how convenient! Off to help my buddies! Why Amy?
Then we meet this ugly mother. So Shadow fights this thing. Not a fan of this boss fight. Knuckles uses the Master Emerald, but the Bio Lizard uses Chaos Control to be in front of the Ark. So it's still set for course. And Shadow and Sonic went Super Saiyan and finish it off.
So now we're fighting as soups in space. Say it with me.
Space!
It's a little meh, honestly. You fight its pimples, and that's about it. You take turns hitting him, and that's it. However, the first few bits are fine, but then the last two goes 180 with its difficulty, and it teases you too. The first few are so stupid easy. Then the game goes, oh no, patterns are harder, take a hit and go back, lose your reins and start again, I'm sorry, it's just not fun enough for me.
It's easy at first, but once you hit it for the third time, it gets frustrating as
Rant mode activate.
Hey, that's mine!
So you see, I got this list of why this boss see the off. So when we start this laser, these balls, if you want to switch characters because, you know, rings are low, well, you have to get to the other side of that stupid lizard, for God's sake. The pimples changed because why the hell not? You weren't there fast enough. And then Sega thought Shadow should have 40 rings instead of 50 for the laugh.
Don't you mean Sonic Team?
I did. Whatever. I don't care. Whatever. I'm in rage. I cannot.
Okay.
Don't talk to him. He's depressed.
Thank you. I am in depression hatred. And then Sega thought Shadow should have 40 rings instead of 50 because why not? And to be fair, it makes sense. But this piece of shit to hell of God's earth.
Well, here's something positive to say about this. The music. Once again, Crush 40 knocks it out of the park.
Live and learn! Hanging on the edge of tomorrow. Live and learn from the words of yesterday. Live and learn. If you beg or if you borrow. Live and learn. You may never find your way. Whoa, yeah.
After the Bio Lizard's death, Sonic and Shadow uses Chaos Control to reorbit the Ark so Earth is saved. But since Shadow, I guess didn't have enough rings, he falls towards the Earth and died. Until Sonic heals, but, well, what should we review? So everyone is reflecting and sad about his death, yada yada, roll the credits.
Honestly, the ending of this game is good. The characters don't go,
well, that happened. Well, let's just move on, guys.
no. Sonic and Rouge reflect the time they were with Shadow. Eggman tells Tails how his grandfather inspired him to become a scientist and how he was his hero, but questions if he really did want to destroy humanity, with Tails giving the worst response ever.
I don't know, but what I do know is we all did it together!
Knuckles asked Rouge what is she gonna do, and she said she's going to give up treasure hunting. That never happened. Ever. And to close this off, before Sonic leaves the arc, he says sayonara to Shadow the Hedgehog. Also, did you know that Rouge has jiggle physics like in Dead or Alive or in Solar Kagura?
And that was Sonic Adventure 2. What do we think of it?
Well, I guess I'll start because why not? Sonic Adventure 2 is interesting. It has a lot of great stage tracks, Sonic and Shadow stages are fun as hell, and the story is okay. Definitely not as complicated as other games I have played, and the models look fine, but the animation has not aged well. Tails and Eggman's gameplay is fine, and the less said about those two, and the final boss, the better. And I say, yes, just still get it, it's great!
As a sequel, it's darn good. Sonic is awesome to play as. However, the other characters aren't really that good, more so than SA1. The presentation is a little mixed, the music is good though, and I still think it's an overall good game. But mostly when you're playing as Sonic and Shadow, and you don't really get to play as them often. Sure, SA1 had its own flaws, especially with Sonic, but it felt more like a better game, while SA2 has a better Sonic. At times, I feel like SA1's Sonic is slightly better than SA2's, but that's just my comparison. On their own, they're great games, but now you know which I prefer more, and so do I. Oh, and before I forget, Big may not be playable in SA2, thank God, but he's hidden everywhere, from the gameplay to the cutscenes. You guys. You freaking guys.
May I see it?
No. And in this end, before I forget too, oops. The ranks are now 10. Depending on how good you do in a stage, you'll be rewarded from an E to an A. And there are other missions for you to do, like collect enough rings, beat the stage fast enough, find a missing child, and beat a harder version, all with its own ranks. And if you get an A rank on all of them, I repeat, all of them, then you get access to a new stage, a 3D version of Green Hill Zone. Pretty nice, and this was before we had green grains shoved down our throats, but dear God! Time for Mr. Action Replay.
You have no shame, do you?
None whatsoever.
Okay. Can I borrow that?
And speaking of which, just like the last game, this was also ported to GameCube and the 7th generation of most consoles, complete with Spyro music. It has even less improvements compared to SA1DX, but it does have one improvement. The battle mode is way bigger. Oh! There's way more stages, extra characters, Amy's annoying voice. And then there's Metal Sonic again! Mwah! Mwah! It's beautiful! Unlike the last game, the Dreamcast had a few DLCs, but the game gives us the costume. What are you wearing, Rouge? Unlike the last one where it's mostly a matter of preference, I suggest a HD version. Yeah, they removed the shadows, but I'd argue it's better without. The battle mode's better, it's cheaper, not much difference visually, and the HD port has widescreen! Why doesn't SA1 have that?
Well, laddie, don't you feel well? You're not on the stage of depression anymore.
Was that English?
You even got the studio of the 3000s to join in.
Huh. I guess you're right. Well, thanks, man. I'm sorry I always called you a...
But really? You're like must really suck because I'm an engineer. I can fix anything. You don't believe me. I fix symphonies. He spins all day. And to think, Watching people go into misery, despair. Oh, that makes me feel good. But I'm never going to give you up. I believe. And to think, you still believe Spyro is better than Sonic the Hedgehog. How truly foolish of you. Oh.
Well, time to pay 3,000 a visit.
Well, folks, you can watch 3000's upcoming review to see what happens next. That's all.
I was gonna wait until I had more time, but then we got a trailer from Sonic Origins. And since it has a particular feature I'll need to talk about when I get to that, I should probably do this game sooner rather than later. If you may recall, I already did a review on Sonic Colors back in December 2020. Well, at least that was the plan, but I had to delay it to January 2021. Sorry guys. Ever since then, my opinions have slightly changed. The jumping is very weird, and I'm not just talking about it being mapped to the home and attack button. I'm talking about the speed. It's weird to explain, but you start off slow, then you suddenly gain speed, making platforming very hard to do. It won't make sense till you try it, but trust me, it ain't that good. There's way too much 2D sections to call it a 3D Sonic game, and when there is 3D, you're just going straight, boosting and not much else. And when you do more than boosting, it's obvious that the controls weren't made for this style. On top of all the other issues I've mentioned, of course, go watch the review. However, it's still a good game. It's not great, but after a while of not so good Sonic games, especially with the internet at the time going, "Ew, Sonic was never good." It was a game we needed. It didn't have a weird idea, Sonic was fast, physics was, well, okay, and best of all, the critics agreed with the fans. Even without my nostalgia goggles, I still hold this game dear to my heart. Wait, what was I talking about? Oh yeah, Sonic Colors Ultimate. Now, with the whole Mario 3D All-Stars and requests for Sonic games on modern consoles, heck, we got Sonic Unleashed fully compatible with the Xbox Series Extreme. With all of that in mind, I wouldn't mind the rest of the Boost games on the Switch, for example. Heck, even if it's a straight port like with Adventure 1 and 2, I would pay loads of money for adventure games on the go! Guys, I didn't see this coming, even with the leaks, but we've got Sonic Colors on current gen. Not the PS5 or Series X-Men though, but whatever. Not only that, they're probably adding stuff to it or something. They just called it Ultimate. Insert Smash Bros. Joke. Ladies and Retromen, this game sucks. How could they mess this up? Well, let's see what you've got, Blind Squirrel Games. Well, this is a bad start already. They spelled the game wrong in the intro. Where's the U? Wait, the title screen too? Come on, dude. Now, before I play, let's have a look around. Now, this may look crap, because it is crap. Wait, no, it's actually alright. The saturation is a little too big, but not really by that much, and you'll only notice it in places like Tropical Resort, Sweet Mountain maybe, but especially Star Carnival. Now this is only because I'm playing the Switch version. On the other version, from what I remember, the saturation is a lot more overexposed than this, so the colors are a bit too bright. People say don't get the Switch version, but I don't know. I feel like it's better here because of the downgrade. Well, there are two other small issues. It's a bit too dark during the results screen, and the rings are more orange than yellow. What's up with that? But yeah, that's all I have to say visually. For the gameplay, well, let's go to that. Well, as expected, there's not too much change. Use boost to the end, use the Wisp as power-ups, and collect those red rings to get Supersonic. Well, for starters, they added this tinny where if you time your homing attack right, you go rainbowy and earn a tiny bit of boost. Well, that's nice. There's a new wisp called the Jaded Wisp, which turns Sonic into a ghost and lets him teleport to certain new spots, which is kinda cool. And look at that! They've changed some of the Retrominimii locations to accommodate for this. That's pretty nice. Oh, and it's the Rifle Rush too. They added Metal Sonic because of course they did. We need more Metal Sonic. Woo! Basically, you can race him in an act on every planet. They're pretty challenging as expected. I do wish there was more to this than a simple Sonic Ghost challenge. Maybe take notes from CD or Generations, add attacks or something? I can't complain too much. He's here and I'm happy about it. Let's see, more the screen glows red when you're near a pit. That's pretty cool, I don't remember seeing them in the original game. And then there's the park tokens. You could collect them throughout the act and use them to buy cosmetics, which is pretty neat. You can buy shoes, glows, auras, boost effects, and icons. I mean, they could have done more, but you can't go wrong with that. And if you pre-ordered the game, or pay €5, you can get some Sonic movie stuff, which looks really nice on him. Not gonna lie, I'm growing a little wary of the plastic design. I didn't get my keychain though. However, something's weird about them. Shouldn't there be an extra life there? Oh, and then there's the Tails saves icon. If you fall off a ledge, Tails will bring you back to the closest ground you were last on, as well as giving you invisibility afterwards for a short time. I suppose it does make it easier, but I'll be fine without. Wait, the Tails saves counter is where my life should be. Oh, I get it. This is some sort of easy mode. I just gotta go back to the normal mode. Now, how do I do that? There is no way to turn the lights back on. And you're stuck with the tail saves. You can't get a game over in this game. I know I'm overusing this, but...
Rant mode activate.
Okay, look. I get it. Make it easy for the little ones. But did you really have to remove it altogether? Why not make it a separate mode like how Crash 4 did it? And at the very least, that game was pretty hard. This is an already easy game made easier. I mean, I like it when I'm collecting red rings. You can keep them on your normal rings when you fall off, so it's pretty handy. But I'm not always collecting red rings. I'm just playing the game, and I want a challenge! Oh, and when you collect 100 rings, you get that invincibility again. Dude, come on! And then there's the tutorial. There are more than usual. Granted, it's at the start more, so it makes more sense. Did I really need to stop to know what this does? I just went through 10 of them. And it's not just the difficulty I have an issue with, or lack of. There are some just bizarre choices. You still automatically drift and sidestep at certain places, and they use the same control scheme. Dude, there's more buttons than a wheel mode. Why not use them? And the default button placements are super awkward. Granted, you can customize them to your liking, so it does nullify the complaints. But it took me a while to get used to, and I'd still like to stress. The credits are now really long, about 30 minutes, making this the longest credits in any Sonic game. Who's expected to sit through this? You even get an achievement for this. Oh yeah, they added achievements. Who could have seen this coming? They removed Mii's in the Sonic Simulator. I mean, the PS4 and Xbox One didn't have them, but you could at least add them to the Switch. It's not like anyone would have complained. I liked it. They did add new remixed music to have through the game. I mean, most of them aren't really good. Like... wow. But in the original, half of the soundtracks were repeated, so this makes sense. What doesn't is having the remixed versions before the original, but I'm not complaining too much. It's like Spyro 3 in the Reignited trilogy. I may not like the new ones, but I suppose it is more and not less. They charged €5 for the 3 DLC music, but the worst part is the fact that GameStop never gave me my keychain. I mean, glitches. It's glitches. Guys. Why do you have to keep rushing Sonic games? The worst animation here takes longer than it should. Sonic does this hop for some reason. He's running slow here, but the sound effects are normal. The Will-O-Wisp looks so weird here. This ship is glitching up. Sonic shouldn't be running like that. Nor should he be dropping from the sky like that. The smoke is glitching up. You can see the void half the time. The grass don't move. Are those blocks loaded in and out? You can't be serious! These chunks are bigger than they should be.
Chunky!
The options menu lag for some reason. The wisps in the 2D sprite form are not facing the camera, which I don't know how they messed that up. The levels take longer to load than the Wii version, and for that matter the PS4 and Xbox, which are quicker than the Wii. I mean, the Switch isn't all too powerful, but it's gotta be at least better than the Wii. The Wii! And what's worse is that I've been listing out all of the issues from the most up-to-date version as of this recording. It was way worse from day one. There was way more glitches, including Sonic being messed up, a seizure-induced screen, game crashing half the time, you couldn't adjust the audio, and the default had the sound effects way too loud. Some of the sound effects and music would outright not play, or worse, play through only one ear. The Laser Wisp looked worse. The Switch version didn't have the firework when you beat the final boss. You couldn't toggle between the remixed music and the original. They added the option to shut Tails up. You weren't able to replay cutscenes in full screen. You weren't even able to skip the credits. They had an update just for that. 5 updates later. They did add the option to turn off the screen blur for when you're boosting. Okay, I'll admit, that's a good one. Yeah, no, the game sucks. The glitches, the forced easy mode, there's not much else added, the glitches, the easy mode, the glitches! We're currently 6 updates in and it's still a glitch-induced mess. Not like releasing a game in an unfinished state is a good thing. The only other thing I need to mention, well, there's a bar to show how long you can move Sonic around on the results screen. That's nice. I like how they used the orchestrated version of Reach for the Stars here. Not sure about Speak With Your Heart though. Oh, and then there's the cutscenes. When people played the Wii version on emulators with how nice it looked, they just couldn't do the cutscenes because they were pre-rendered. So you know what Blind Scrolls did? They took the pre-rendered version and upscaled it using an AI. Tails' eyes don't look all too good. It's fine at the end of the day, but Sega actually has the original models and everything. They could have done more, but no! Look, if you just want to play Sonic Colors and don't care about all this, or if you just want an even easier version, then you can get this. But you should have no trouble getting the original. I mean, the game and Wii console are cheap and there's way less glitches. Come on, Sega. I mean, yeah, they didn't port the game, but they still approved of its quality. And they could have given them more time or something. And the easy mode, well, I shouldn't be too surprised. Sonic Forces. Like, bro. Ultimate? They didn't add anything, at least not much worth buying. If anything, they made it worse. How'd you screw up something like this? This. However, I will forgive you if you send me that keychain you owe me. Man, but I don't want more classic Sonic ports!
Then why did you ask for the mobile games on home consoles, you crazy son?
I review a Sonic port, do nothing for over a month, and review another one, subscribe. Once upon a time, Sonic Team created the classic Sonic games. Can't call them a trilogy because there's 5 games, alright? Then in 2011, Sega agreed to let a fan who goes by the name Christian Whitehead to do his work and use his retro engine to recreate Sonic CD from the ground up. And everybody loved it. Then in 2013, it happened again. He did Sonic 1 and 2. They were amazing. However, we wanted more. So then, because of the popular Sonic movie introducing new fans to the series, Sonic Team wanted to show them, hey, We make games too. Play Sonic Colors Ultimate. Along with their easier glitch fest, they made Sonic Origins consistent of all those classic games. Not ports, but all using the Retro engine. I don't know about you guys, but me, this is what I wanted. Those other ports of 1 and 2 were mobile exclusives, and I don't know if you know this, but I don't really work well with touchscreen controls. I think we can all agree that these controls aren't the greatest way to play games, especially ones made for consoles. And Sonic CD was on consoles, but it was on older consoles by this point. This one was more to do with convenience than anything, but still. And then there was going to be a Sonic 3 and Knuckles version, but it was turned down. And now it's on the Switch, goddammit, woo! So, now that it's here, let's take a look. Oh, and in case I get something wrong or something, CD aside, I didn't really play much of the mobile ports. That's how much those controls turned me off. Okay, first things first, they reused the sound effects from Generations and Mania. Already a good start here. Wait, is that remixed music from Sonic Jam? Nice! Whoa, and they got animated cutscenes for the games too! That's so cool! Only for before and after the games, but still! The simple Sonic seeing what's happening and off to save the day, Tails being bullied for having 2 tails, Amy using tarot cards and then getting a dev card, then replacing it with a different card. This one makes me think of my little sister with her family. And then you have Robotnik begging for Knuckles, and that art style! Man, they went all out with that one. Is Tails now 9 tails? I will say this. As much as I enjoy these, and I'm sure they put their heart and souls into them, I do wish there was more. One on CD, I can understand. But why not show Robotnik going at it again with Tails around? Sonic and Tails before they head to Angel Island. And especially after Sonic 3 and Knuckles. Why not show the Phantom Ruby to tie in with Mania? Just as suggestions. Hire me, Sega. And look at that! They've kept the old Sonic CD cutscenes with no crop and a bit of touch-up too. Still not the best since it lacks the lyrics? The back? Wait, hold up. Do they have the rights again or something? What's going on? Although they sped up the old ending, which I find very, very odd. I think they did this in Sonic Jam, but I don't know. It's just weird to look at, and I don't like it. Also, they're louder.
To the Sonic World, the Dave Expression time!
As for the games themselves, well, they're just how you expect them to be. Just like the original games, but with a bigger screen, which is really good for Sonic since you have more time to react. Some of the bosses had to change a bit to accommodate for this, like the platforms here have moved and these pillars were added. Plus, thanks to the Retro engine, you've got some smooth stuff here or there, like CD's final boss, those platforms in Scrub Rain, the lights in Stardust Speedway, stuff like that. The pixels are a bit blurry, and to be fair, I left the anti-aliasing on, not knowing what it was. But even with it off, it's not as good looking as it could be, but it's not very noticeable. The biggest improvements are the special stages in all 5 games. Sonic 1 has smoother rotation, Sonic CD is even smoother, which makes it a tiny bit easier. Sonic 2 is completely redone, and I think it's easier to see. I screwed up less times if that says anything. And Sonic 3, I think it's smoother? Probably? That game had the most touch-ups visually, I believe. Sonic got a lot more frames here and there, especially Super Sonic. Oh, and the slots are different. I noticed that. Just wanted to share. The games play practically the same too, but they all got some new features. Sonic 1 has the spin dash, Tails can fly in 2, you get the good old drop dash in all of them, and you can have Tails fly you when you're by yourself in all of the games. You can play as Tails and Knuckles in all of them, well, Knuckles doesn't want to be in CD. And you can play as Knuckles with Tails in Sonic 2. Just what?
Oh, you're really heavy!
That's because I have 1,000,000% muscle!
You can press a separate button to activate Super Sonic. You don't get Super Sonic without debug mode in Sonic 1. I assumed you'd be able to unlock him just like that. You can't hit the first boss from Sonic 1 until he's ready. They brought back the big arms boss for Sonic 3. He normally doesn't appear when you have the two games combined, and I was worried. Luckily, he's there. You can still do the drop dash as Super Sonic, always found that funny to me. And if you drop down that one pit and miss the cave, you go to Hidden Palace Zone, a cut level from Sonic 2. And it's even got a boss here, which is pretty hard, not gonna lie. There's also a Proto Palace Zone if you go to the level select, but I can't seem to access it. Send help. Oh, and the level select and debug mode returns for all of the games. You can mess around with stuff, it's the only way to get Super Sonic in Sonic 1 and get the other super forms in the older games. And Sonic 3, okay. Sega ported the mobile engines to this one, while Simon Tomley created a new engine for Sonic 3, based on Mania, and it shows with the blue rings still in the code, and this tin which makes the whole game lag? Huh. And the multiplayer. Sonic 2 has way more stages than before, which is awesome, with a bigger screen. And Sonic 3 had those small stages now normal size, with Sonic and crew looking just how you remembered. They have the same physics, meaning no special moves, and the jumping feels off, which I understand, but when I look at this, I don't expect this. And then, there's the coins. Removing lives and game overs. Just like Sonic Colors Ultimate. Now, I may sound hypocritical about this, but I'm not as mad as I was with Ultimate. Well, for one, they don't save you from bottomless pits, and the games themselves are pretty hard. Way harder than Colors! Keep in mind, I struggled with Sonic 2 a long time ago, and as much as I like Sonic CD, I can't deny that it probably took me a long time for me to understand the level design. I mean, they all really needed just save files and that's it, but at the very least, they're pretty challenging games. You can also use the coins to retry the special stages should you fail one. They can also be really hard, especially when you have no save files, and I did use up quite a bit of them. There's also the classic mode where you get the lives back, but you get 4x3. I don't hate this, but I just want my widescreen and lives, dude. Oh yeah, the extra modes. You can use the coins to buy extra videos, art, and music. There's a mission mode where you can do challenges to get more coins. Honestly, they're too easy for me to get an S rank. There's a story mode where you can play through all the games at once. You have to go to the mission island, so I didn't know it was there. There's also mirror mode, which you can guess what it's like. And there's blue spheres, cause why not? Along with the blue sphere stages from Mania. Huh. The music is pretty much the same. Not much to say. You could choose which region you'd like to hear in CD. Sonic 3, however, well, the reason we didn't get many re-releases of this game was because Michael Jackson contributed for some of the songs. But because he didn't like how it turned out, along with another reason we won't be talking about today, he was left uncredited. A few years ago, a prototype of Sonic 3 was found containing some new prototype music for Knuckles' theme, Carnival Night, Ice Cap, Launch Base, and the credits. All probably made in case Jackson couldn't make it. You might recognize them from the PC ports of Sonic 3 and Knuckles. Sega was weirdly close to the PC at the time. So, as expected, and feared by some, these were used instead of the originals, which is sad, but I can understand. There's licensing issues and such. And apparently, Jun Seno remixed them a little to fit more with the Mega Drive music, even though the prototypes were on the Mega Drive. Oh, and they sound slightly worse. Take a listen. I mean, it's not the end of the world or anything, but I just find it odd. Would the old music have taken up too much memory if put alongside the final cards? I don't know. I do like how they put both credits music into the ending cutscene instead of Sky Sanctuary. That's nice of them. And they did a new Supersonic theme. Whoa! They could have remixed that beta music, but no. I mean, it's not that great, but it's better than a 6 seconds loop. This collection also fixes up a few bugs here or there. The spike glitch is fixed. You don't soft lock the game when you jump in the air with the 7 emeralds in hand. The game doesn't have those slowdowns or that bits where some of the sprites are missing. I think the shell crackers are easier to hit. Oh, and you get to keep your rings after a special stage in Sonic 2. Not really a bug, but I forgot to mention that. But with all that in mind, it somehow adds its own little bugs. Damn it, Sonic Team. When Tails goes off screen in Sonic 2, but not the others, he doesn't despawn and respawn, so every seconds it's the jumping sound effect over and over. It's so annoying. Those bombs are not supposed to look like that. The drop dash in 1, 2, and CD, sometimes I can't tell in mid-air, and I swear I could in the Sega Ages ports. Tails glitched up here, I did a tin with Supersonic drop dash, and now, just wow. I saw a YouTube video at one point where someone went into this giant ring that would normally take you to this place to do the extra special stages, then restart the level, and he ended up in the hidden palace, but the one where you fight Knuckles. None of these really ruined the game for me personally. I mean, the drop dash issue is pretty weird, and the biggest issue they need to fix is Tails, but these are pretty much all I've come across in my playthrough. And with that, should you get this game? Well, I'm not 100% sure. I mean, I'm happy with my purchase, no doubt, especially with the Switch version so I can play any of them wherever I want. But besides the prototype music, they really should have spent just a little bit more time with this, and maybe should have changed a few things. The glitches for sure, I'm surprised they exist at all. Give me lives and widescreen support, fix that Sonic CD ending cutscene, maybe make the missions a little harder to get S ranks, and for God's sake, stop trying to get more money by giving us crap like this. I'm not as mad as I am with Sonic Colors Ultimate, but I am disappointed. This one was even harder to mess up, and they still did. Just not as a huge mess, but there's still some cleaning up to do. And it sucks even more because Sega delisted the digital versions of those games for Origins, except for the Sega Ages port. My guess is because of that arcade extra, but that means you can't play the original Sonic 3 and Knuckles on Steam or the 2011 port of Sonic CD. Sega, Sonic Team, you may not have goofed up like before, but you did goofed up something. Also, they have the islands from Sonic Spinball and 3D's Flicky's Island. What?! Man, what a wild ride. 5 whole years making reviews on this very day.
Oh no!
22nd of July, 2017, I uploaded my NES Remix review. I had little to say about it, my microphone was awful, my editing software wasn't as advanced as it is now, I had it running at 15 frames per second, and now, I think I've improved? I've played some good games, some bad games, made new friends, got a few review codes from the QA guild, had all of the Mario games disappear from existence, sent 2 people to hell. I hate plots. So, to celebrate me, I've made a list of my top 20 video games of all time. But before I get started, I should mention a few things. The audio after this has no script, so sorry if I stutter or anything. You seem to like those videos though. These are my personal top 20, but you probably know that by now. Oh, and I'm also only going to do 1 game per franchise. Trust me, without that review, you only get 3 series. So, with that, here it is. Yeah, I know what you're thinking, but hear me out. I really do like this game. You've seen it in my review. I like it. But here's the reason why I kinda like it. Yes, it is kind of glitchy and unfinished. Weird. But you know what? I like the weird. I also like the open world illusion of the open world, at least on it, as Anstute would say. Notice me. And I think the reason I like it is because it reminds me a little bit more of Spyro. I mean, let's be honest. I think the only reason this franchise makes it onto the top 20 is because of that alone. If it was any other game, I wouldn't say they're my favorite. I do really like it, especially Crash 4. The new one. Screw the old one! But yeah, it's open world, it's still fun to play around. I like most of the humor. It's just really fun. I don't know, I just really like it. I just like it! If anyone's gonna ask, I am going to review this game once it is complete. Rebirth better be the last part, okay? I don't really like Final Fantasy VII, okay? I mean, it's a good game, I'm not gonna deny that, but I think it's just too big for my taste as well as just a lot of text. A lot of text. This, I like the gameplay, I like the story and everything. It feels a little bit more easier to play than a regular JRPG. I'm not sure how everyone feels about combat. I mean, I haven't played Final Fantasy 15, but I do know a lot of people don't like the combat there. I can't say much since I haven't played it yet, but for what I've seen, they're a bit similar, and yeah, I really like the new combat. I like how they even added the whole choice system in there. You keep fighting and dodging and stuff to build up this meter, and then you use that to use special moves, and you got the MP and items. It's a really cool idea, and I really like it. I also like how it's easier to understand the story than the last one. I know how it was back then, but I don't know. I felt very confused on what was going on, what this was supposed to be like, and everything. This I can understand. Now, the reason it's a bit low on the list is because I feel like it goes a bit too far into the filler parts. Like, there's a lot of filler that doesn't need to be there. I mean, I understand why it's there. They want it to be a one big game. But at that point, it still feels a lot like filler. Don't get me wrong, still pretty fun. But it's just alright. Okay, that's all I can say. Blech! Don't worry, this whole list is not going to be RPGs. In fact, this is the last RPG I'm going to mention. That's right, I think Persona 5 is the best RPG I've ever played. Particularly Persona 5 Royal. I really like the story and the whole Spider-Man situation where you had to have two lives at the same time. The story is really good. I like the music, god damn it, the music. And the gameplay is really fun. It should be fun, but they make it fun. They got the weakness and everything. If you hit the weakness or get them down, that means you get one more. And you can baton pass it to the others and use up less SP and gain a bit more HP. If you do it with everyone, the last move will cost nothing. And then you can just collect them all like Pokemon and just... I also like the sneak stuff. I mean, I'm gonna be honest, it's a bit... Maybe it's because of the difficulty I chose, but it's a bit easy. Except for the bosses. But yeah. I do have my own issues, like, the whole relationship system is... Dear God, that's a mouthful. I'm gonna have to explain if I ever review this one. But this is probably the best RPG I have ever played. F-Zero GX. I had a feeling that I had to put a racing game in this list at some point, but if I were to pick out of any of them, I'd say it'd be F-Zero GX. Yeah, Mario Kart is good and all, but I really feel like the speed is a little bit better than the items. Although both series are really good, don't get me wrong. And if I was to pick out of all of them, I'd say F-Zero GX is the superior. It doesn't have those back controls with F-Zero X. It's not the GBA ones. And F-Zero the original is so close to being almost as good as that, but I feel like F-Zero GX makes it a bit better. You're going really fast, you're just so crazy. Yeah, that's pretty much it. Simple enough to explain. You're going really fast. Case closed. I also like in both F-Zero X and GX actually is the whole gravity stuff. And has anyone ever mentioned about comparison to that on Mario Kart 8? Maybe they have. What's sad is that this is the best F-Zero game, but it still has a lot of improvements needed. Like, the controls still aren't the greatest. The story mode is really hard. This could really use some online multiplayer. Seriously, guys. I feel like if they have multiplayer in there, have them with CPUs. Or maybe it does. Maybe. I need to go back and look at that. So yeah, I really like it. Oh yeah, and I like the whole arcade counterpart stuff. It's really fascinating to learn about. I wish we still had games that work like that, but Now here's a game many of you might not know much about. VVV, or as other people might call it, www. This one is probably more so liking it because of the aesthetics, but I also really like the gameplay. All you have is one button, and that changes the gravity. Do this to solve puzzles while listening to some good old BitTune music. It doesn't get more simple than that, but there's still a lot of fun to be had there, and I just really like it. It's also one of the earliest games I got on my 3DS eShop, which I accidentally erased my eShop account a long time ago. It's a long story, but luckily it's on other platforms, especially the Switch. The 3DS would have been the best way to go, but with the Switch you get multiplayer, so that's good. The multiplayer doesn't really add anything, but that's cool. Actually, you know what? I take it back. 3DS is still the best one. You got a map. Shovel Knight. And I will review the other Shovel Knight games when I get those goddamn 4 amiibos. How many amiibos are there? But yeah, I liked it back then, and probably really liked it back then. I like the music, I like the small stories, especially in the DLC ones. I like the gameplay stuff, I like the whole choose your world thing, but screw it, I'm gonna get everything I can get. I just like it all in general, it's just really good. I like it. Go watch the review. I'm sorry if I'm not having much to say. If I were to go into a full review, I'd go into a full review, but yeah, no, I just really like it. NES Remix. Funny I mentioned that earlier and now it's here. Haha. This is a simple concept that really does go a long way. It's the old games, but you make challenges out of them. And then you make new challenges out of them. And then you have stuff like Nintendo World Championship and New Super Luigi U. I wouldn't say one is better than the other, maybe. It just depends on you. Of course, you're not gonna be able to get it anymore on the eShop when it closes down. However, a good thing is that in America, not Europe, America, you can get buy it physically. But everywhere you can get an Ultimate NES Remix on the 3DS. I don't have that one, okay? Yeah, but if it's like any of the other ones, then I say go for that one. Probably, but it's such a good game. I love it to death. And hey, there's a reason why I picked it as my first review. Retro! Rayman Origins is such a good game. After no Rayman, after Raven Rabbids, as good as that franchise is, I wish we got Rayman back. But then you got Rayman Origins, which brought back to Rayman's roots, but made it a whole lot better, and it's so satisfying to move and everything. The music is so awesome, the mood, the punching, the doing anything is fun. I like the chase stuff as well, it's fun. But I'm gonna be honest, I would have to say Rayman Legends is a bit higher. Now, I don't really like the aesthetics as much, and I'm not too sure about the gimmicks or the levels. It's essentially the same thing, but not as good in those departments. It does have one thing. It has all of the Rayman Origins levels in this one. So in that sense, Rayman Legends is probably a bit higher than that. But I was really thinking about putting Origins above. Both games are good though, I just, you know. Kirby's Adventure Wii. To be honest, I'd say from looking at it, maybe the 3DS games are a bit better. And probably the new Forgotten Lands thing, is that what it's called, the 3D one on Switch? That one probably would be better, but I haven't played it, so I can't go off that. Kirby's Adventure Wii. It's just Kirby, but a bit more Kirby. I just really like this, okay? Out of all the games, I picked this one. And yes, Kirby, I'm not too sure about. I mean, it's really good. Kirby Superstar, or Kirby's Fun Pack, as the good people call it, it's not much of a full game. It feels like Sonic Adventure at times. You got some good stuff here, but nothing that makes it satisfying enough to call it a full game. It gives you more hours, but I just don't know. Kirby's Adventure Wii, I go with that, yeah. Oh yeah, Kirby Epic Yarn's good, but not as good as you. Also, maybe it's just me, but I really like the whole Mega Inhaleton or whatever that's called. I just like that concept, and I like the friends. I like to having multiple friends along with you. You know, when I can get any friends with me. But yeah, if I order Kirby games, I take this one, and it's a really satisfying journey to have. I just like Kirby. Kirby's good. Okay. Hear me out. What if we had another Kid Icarus game already? Kid Icarus Uprising. The NES game is not that good, and I have not played the Game Boy one. I just so like the Kid Icarus Uprising game, okay? It's such a different game, but so good. Damn it, you got flying sections, you got all the multiple weapons, then you get the ground one, and the humor, the comedy, the talking, the everything. You got Dark Pits, which haha, shout out Hedgehog jokes. It's just really good. And you also have the multiplayer, which is still up to this day. That's kind of amazing, honestly. I mean, when I recently played it, I think I died a bit too many times. I think I'm a bit rusty. But damn, it's a really good game. You should get it. They should remake it. They should make a new one! WarioWare Smooth Moves. Out of all of them, I'd say that one is probably the better one. WarioWare in general is such a good series though. You got all those tiny minigames and it gets fast and it's so much fun. There's not much else to say about it, okay? That's what I can say about WarioWare. But they do use the Wii remote very well. I like how they use it to all its gimmicks. When it works, that is. But yeah, it's good. Nintendo Land. I'm not gonna be able to use Fudge for this because it doesn't work anymore, so I'm going off memory. Nintendo Land, the launch title for the Wii U. Rest in peace. You may be bad, but you're still good in my heart. This is such an underrated game. It may not be a strong one, which I can understand, but it's so underrated. All those little mini games are really fun to do, especially if you have friends. The Metroid one, the Mario one. I like the Donkey Kong, I'm not sure why, but I just like the Donkey Kong one. I like the Game & Watch one, I just like them all. So yeah, I also like the main theme, it's just so funky. I like the memes, okay? Okay, let me go into a bit more. It's another simple concept. There's a group of friends, one of them is the killer or imposter. You have to do tasks before everyone's killed, or figure out who the imposter is, while the imposter has to kill everyone before getting found out, or before the tasks are complete. And the chaos that ensues from that is amazing. It's just so good to play. I think I'm getting a bit tired after playing it all the time, but it is really good. The memes, I just like the memes. I just really like people yelling at the memes like getting annoyed. Come on, the memes are funny, okay? Now here's a series I never thought would ever make it to this list. The Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild. You know, whenever I try to play Zelda games, they never really click with me. I try to keep going and going until I just get stuck and I give up, or I just get burned out, I don't know. Zelda, just never really clicked that well. I don't think the game's bad, but it just doesn't work with me. Zelda Breath of the Wild? Yeah, I could dig. This is a game that takes the original concept of what a Zelda game should be and just blows it out of proportion. The world is so big, you can do anything in whatever order. And it's really hard, but personally not hard to the point where I want to give up, but it's just, wow, there's so much to do and you could go do anything and all that stuff. You could probably beat the boss without doing anything, maybe. I just really like this one. It's just good. It's also the one that finally figured out the whole open world stuff. And others try to copy it. But not this one. This one is a masterpiece. Spider-Man, the world of Spider-Pan. Out of all the Marvel superheroes, I like Spider-Man the most, okay? So a game where you control and it feels exactly like Spider-Man is so good. Then you got the story, which is our same old Spider-Man goodness, and you got a really good game. Made by the same people who made Spyro. Good on them. Here's how you know a game's really fun. When the missions are really good too, but you spend more time just doing nothing, and that alone is fun. That's how you know it's a good game. Gotta be honest, this one was also a really hard decision to make. I really like Ratchet & Clank. I haven't played most of them. The only ones I've played were 1 to 3, Size Matter, PlayStation 4, and Rift Apart. So after some hard thinking, I say this one. It kind of gets all the stuff a bit right down and fixes all the other issues the last ones have. Again, I have not played any of the PlayStation 3 ones, so I can't take your word for it, but I think this is a good balance and a really good concept. You got Ratchet & Clank transported into a world where Dr. Nefarious has already won. This has let you finish and further into a second dimension, and I love it. The combat's still pretty good, they got it down just right. Even if it's different from the PlayStation 2 one, I think this is a little bit for the better. I like all the good old weapons. It's got the story pretty good. I still like how I kept the whole short for replayability for New Game Plus. It's really good. And I really like how they use the PlayStation 5 controller. It's not much, but they did it pretty good. Smash Brothers. Yeah. Smash Brothers. Here's a short opinion on the Smash series. Smash 64 is goofy and old. I love it. It's not great, but I got a soft spot. Melee is overrated, but it's definitely better than 64. I don't think it's the best Smash game, but it's definitely worthy of a big jump after the 64. Brawl is my baby! I just love Brawl to death. Smash 4, I love that even more. I was there when the hype was real. I didn't have a Wii U, that's how hyped I was. And Ultimate is a little bit better than 4. So yeah, I like Smash Bros. Ultimate. It's got all the characters, the story mode sucks though. Got good old music. Yeah, there's not much I can say. I like the whole combat and stuff and everything, and Smash 64 and Melee was stiff. Brawl and 4 was floaty. This one tries to keep it a bit more in the middle for competitive while still being easy on the newbies. And there's always a place where you can play as your me, okay? Now, you may be wondering, but Retro, if all the Mario games are gone just like I said in your review for plot convenience, why is this one here? How are you playing it? I recorded this before they all went, okay? Super Mario 3D Land. This is gonna be a controversial one compared to everyone else. I don't think a lot of people will ever put this on the top 10 or anything like that. But I just like the concept. Hear me out. The 2D games are good, still good. Then you got the sandbox games like 64 and Sunshine and Odyssey, where they take it out of the window, but it's still Mario enough that's fun in its own rights. There's Galaxy, which is more linear than people like, but still really fun with the whole open world. 3D Land is even more linear, but just because it's not open world or anything like that, doesn't mean it's not good. Here's the truth. I really enjoy the 2D games, and I enjoy them even more when they're in 3D. This may be also a lot biased to be honest, but I don't know, I like it. It's the good old 2D Mario games, like the new Super Mario Bros. Ones as well, and it's just got the rules and it's all in 3D. You don't need much to be good. And this is my comfort game. Now, Odyssey is amazing, so is Galaxy, but sometimes simple can be a bit better. I like this. From one controversial opinion to another. Sonic Heroes. Hear me out. I really enjoy the 2D games. I enjoy the 3D ones a bit more, but here's the thing. Here's where I'd rank the kind of games. Boost is alright for a game, but I wouldn't pick that out of them. Then you got the 2D ones, and then you got the adventure ones. But here's the thing. I only enjoy Sonic's portion of Sonic Adventure 1 and 2, but they don't give enough to satisfy me for a whole game, and the other characters suck. Sonic 6, it could be good, if they improved a bit of Shadow and Silver, and the rest of the game while we're at it. Sonic Heroes is a bit more glitchy than Sonic Adventure 1 and 2's Sonic, but out of all of them, this feels more like as a better game as a whole. You don't have any big catfishing or Knuckles going in space or anything like that. I find it fun, okay? And I don't find it slow. While it does have slow parts, you gotta use your skills to get past them, okay? Just like the original games. And it doesn't have to have any big plot or anything. It just needs to be fun. And fun I had. Minus a couple of parts, but I did have fun. Amy sucks. And before I go to the number 1 spot, here's a lightning round of games that couldn't make the list. Like you said, Like a Dragon. I really enjoyed the side stuff and the story, they are gold, but the main part of the gameplay is just more RPG and it's just meh. Pokemon Black and White. It's just Pokemon. Out of all the Pokemon games, I choose this one, but I can't say much. I also haven't played in a while, leave me alone. Pikmin 3. It takes what the first game did and refines it a bit more, and I like it. Pikmin 3 Deluxe, to be exact. I think I don't know much. I can't really remember the difference. I'd say you'd be fun with either one. Metroid Dread. You get lost. It's even better than Super Metroid, which before the Metroid Dread, I would have considered Super Metroid to be my favorite Metroid Dread game. It's good old looking around to get lost, and when you get to the enemy, it's a good old chase and hide. Hide and seek. Squid Game. Goat Simulator. This. Frickin' this. Dragon Quest XI. It's a bit more simpler, but that's probably for the better, so it's not complicated, and something about it I really like. Undertale. Yes, there's a lot of RPGs, but these are the only ones I'd really like. All the RPGs would be pretty low, to be honest. Anyway, Undertale. It's a really cool concept of the game, I like the music, the aesthetics, and it's the only game that really makes me think about my actions, and no other game has yet to do that. And finally, number 1. Echo the Dolphin. You were waiting for a second, weren't you? You'd think I'd forget a Spyro game. This could be considered cheating because it is a compilation of the other games. But these games have been remade. And besides, if it wasn't for this, I'd put Spyro the Dragon. And Spyro Reignite Trilogy is a little bit better than Spyro 3. Plus, it got the other 2 games. I'm putting this one on the top of the list. Okay? I just really love Spyro. The whole exploration in 3D and doing all the side stuff. Running, jumping, gliding, flaming. Some of the characters, the aesthetics, the music, especially the music. And after the whole downfall, we finally got Spyro Reignited Trilogy. Something I was really hoping for, especially after Crash Insane Trilogy. And man, it did not disappoint. It did disappoint in some ways, but it really did not disappoint. It's my favorite game, and there's no denying that. I can't believe I was worried about not having a favorite game, but no. This is the greatest game to ever exist. And it needs to be ported to PlayStation 5! Please! It may not do much, but please? Please? And you bet your pixel rare and I'll be reviewing Spyro 4 if they ever make that. So, there we have it. I don't know what to say. This part I haven't write this part for a script either. Just thank you for being with me this whole time. I hope you had fun watching this as I had fun thinking about this and speaking. But if you disagree with me, let me know your top games in the comments below. And yeah, thanks for watching. And just thanks for subscribing and bothering to watch me. And I'm sorry this year has been few on reviews, okay? I'm sorry. Great! Just perfect! First, my entire Mario collection disappears. Then I get turned into a monkey. And then it turns out that 3003 Studios, or Mega Silver 3000, lied to me about Sonic 06 being on Nintendo Switch. I swear, man, something's fishy. And then Shimoda Brian starts insulting me. Glad those two are in hell now, but
Ah! A monster! I thought this was Retro's house! Ah!
Believe me, not the first time somebody called me a monster.
The monster talks?
Okay, now you're just... Wait. What the? Damn it! Why do I keep turning into turns?
Wait, Retro? Is that you?
The one and only.
What the flippity flop happened to you? This is a family show, kids.
To be honest, I don't know. Maybe I'm reviewing too many Sonic games.
Well, you do kind of look like a werewolf, and wait a minute. Sonic Unleashed is about werewolf hog thingies too. Maybe if you review Sonic Unleashed with me, you can get cured.
Didn't you hear what I just said? I'm reviewing too much. How would reviewing another Sonic game help?
Retro, I'm trying to advance the plot here.
What plot? Sonic Unleashed. Right after Sonic 06 released to the fanfare of absolutely no one, Sega and Sonic Team didn't really know what to do with the series. There was Sonic and the Secret Ring, which had the motion controls.
And It's No Use himself.
Yep, I already brought up that game. Shadow the Hedgehog released before that. I suppose people didn't like Heroes. Actually, there wasn't much outside of the handhelds and spin-offs, but the point is, people knew that Sonic wasn't the same since Adventure, or the Mega Drive days. And then Sonic Unleashed released, and nobody cared about it. However, this will be the last game, last-ish game, in the quote-unquote dark era of Sonic games. And in recent years, a lot, and I mean a lot of people are saying that this game is good, even their favorite Sonic game. I didn't have much of a history with it myself. I have played a tiny bit of the Wii version at a friend's house, I think before Colors? Years later, when I got the PS3 version, I honestly just couldn't motivate myself to finish it.
Professor Pickle!
That's it?
Yes, that is my sole opinion on the game.
Well, you know what? Yeah, Professor Pickle! Let's get to the history.
This game started development in 2006, so pretty soon after Sonic 06 released, and was actually the first Sonic game to use the Hedgehog engine. And I gotta say, this game looks gorgeous, and even holds up on the Wii, which is truly impressive. The game also actually started development as Sonic Adventure 3, but then the Sonic team added too many things that separated it from the Adventure series, and so it just sort of became its own thing. Very sad. It was directed by Yoshihisa Hashimoto, who really only worked on Unleashed and the Hedgehog engine at Sega, before leaving in 2009 to work at Square. The game finally released in November 18th, 2008 in North America, November 27th in Australia, November 28th in Europe, and December 18th in Japan. It was originally released on the PS2, Wii, and Xbox 360, but later released on PS3 and apparently mobile?
Not gonna lie, I'm interested to play this version. So, is this game good or bad? Let's find out next time on Retro's Review! The game starts with Dr. Eggman and his army doing something, and then Sonic raids the fleet and we see him do some cool fast stuff. And then... Super Sonic! Wait, isn't this a bit early for Super Sonic? Eggman then traps Sonic into a, well, trap, and somehow manages to pull the Chaos Emeralds right out of him. Using the energy, Eggman fires a cannon at a planet and breaks it apart. In doing so, he released a mysterious creature called Dark Gaia, which Eggman plans to use to
try to take over the world.
But by doing so, Sonic turns into... this thing. You know, I just realized, Sega should have made Halloween masks. Eggman then sends him flying out into space, where he supposedly dies.
That's all, folks.
Nah, just kidding, he's still alive. We then meet this fellow, which Sonic later names Chip. Apparently, he's lost his memory, so Sonic the Werehog agrees to help him find his memories again. Throughout the story, we learn a few things. When the sun goes down, Sonic turns into a werehog, his arms can stretch, and to fix the plant again, Sonic must restore energy back to the Chaos Emeralds by going to the Gaia temples. There's a few more details to the story, but we'll get to that later. For now, let's focus on the gameplay.
So the gameplay is kind of split into a few sections. I'll talk about just the day levels and let Retro suffer with the rest. These levels don't tend to be the absolute longest, but god are they fun to play. Sonic controls great, enemies are super manageable, and obstacles are actually nice since you can realistically react to most of them. Not to mention, as previously stated, this game looks gorgeous, and with these fast-paced levels, everything still holds up and it's just really impressive. Maybe this is just me, but the 2D sections in Sonic games like Sonic Forces are really painful. But in this game, they're actually nice. Well balanced because they don't slow you down that much, but at the same time everything is perfectly visible so you know where to go and what to do. Another thing that was done really well in this game was boosting, and it would be important for them to do it well anyway since this is the first mainline Sonic game to introduce boosting. Boosting dramatically affects gameplay since it makes you super fast, as Sonic does. It attracts rings and makes you invincible. It also sets some of the differences between the adventure games and this one, since while the adventure games are somewhat open in the sense of more open areas to attack, Unleashed is vastly more linear, and even has these 2D sections where, evidently, you can't even move in the 3-dimensional plane. So yeah, way more linear. There's also the items like the wall jump and stomping shoes, which are actually only present in the 360 and PS3 versions, since you technically already start with them on the PS2 and Wii versions. Anyways, the items are found in different places and allow you to do different things, like for example, wall jump or stomp down in the middle of a jump. In the 360 and PS3 versions, getting these items are mandatory to progress to different levels, and for some, mandatory to get the next item. Anyways, I would say the day levels are my favorite aspect of the game, and they're stupid fun.
Yeah, I agree with you. While I do prefer the adventure style over this one, there's no doubt that just boosting through your opponents is a lot of fun. And unlike Colors, if you watched my review, hint hint, it adds some challenge to it. You need to react fast while boosting. Quick step out of the way, push the right buttons to keep going, the wall jumping, stomp to land faster and quickly boost again, and when there are 2D sections, they too are reaction based to your speed, and even if they weren't, they are few and far between. It ain't adventure, but it sure does have the essence of Sonic game without being too easy or too hard. Well, there are a few issues. The boost button is on the same button as the homing attack. While it's not a big issue, it did take some getting used to. Also, I'm very used to the 360 buttons, so when it comes to any quick time events, yeah. Also, they still couldn't get the lightspeed dash right. Emphasis on few. But then we get to the other side of the game, the werehog. This is a part that gets the community split into two, all mainly on the bad side back then. And honestly, who can blame them? I mean, just look at this. Speed? Attitude? Pfft, screw that. Why don't we just have a vampire here too? We'll call it... still a better love story than 06. Sonic Team wanted to do something to make up for the lack of extra characters and all, and I can understand that. So how do they do that? They turn them into a hack and slash. And I am very mixed on this. Well, for starters, let's get to the good side. For this style of gameplay, it does the job very well. You press two buttons, one for weak and one for strong attacks. Use them together in certain ways to create combos. You have a shield. If you collect enough of these thinamajigs, you can do an unleash attack which makes you stronger, faster and invincible for a short time. And there's still some platforming to do. They're not much, but it's fine. However, I really couldn't care less about this. With a few exceptions like Final Fantasy VII Remake for example, I've never been too interested in this style of gameplay. When I play a Sonic game, I want speed, and I wouldn't mind this if it was its own game or something, but it takes up like half the game, and if I want to unlock more boost stages, I've got to spend 20 minutes on this! Look, this isn't bad, but I really don't enjoy playing through these levels honestly. Well, one thing that's, well, something I suppose, is the level up system, where if you collect enough yellow tins from defeating enemies in either stages, you can level up both Hedgehog and Werehog. The daytime part doesn't really have much use honestly, but the Werehog has some good stuff like unlocking new moves.
This game was developed around the time hack and slash video games were pretty popular, so I understand the inspiration, but for all those reasons Retro said before, it's clear the execution was subpar on these levels. So yeah, I agree with Retro on the fact that these levels really bring Unleashed down a bit. Like any good Sonic game, Sonic 06, Unleashed likes to have hub worlds, and like, my god are these big improvements from 06. Soliana was so having all these different hub worlds in Unleashed which tackle all different types of architecture and cultures is actually super cool, and really gives a sense that you have to save the entire world by visiting all these places. A true Sonic adventure. Anyways, these hubs aren't too confusing and perfectly serve their purpose. And also the NPCs are less, well...
Yeah, I agree with you. Again, this is probably the best hub world we've gotten so far from a Sonic game. Well, I do think this could have benefited a bit better from a map, and the loading screens don't freaking count! But it's not too bad, and I've never had any trouble getting to the stages, so it's all good. And look at that! We've got missions too! Why does everything have to lead back to this game? While they are kinda just as pointless as 06 to bother with, since you just get some XP and runes, at the very least they're quick and harmless, and you're not required to do them! With the Werehog for certain missions, you do have to flash a camera at people who aren't themselves to perform an exorcism, which is pointless. Again, just like the missions. Oh yeah, you can buy stuff with friends again. This time it's just for souvenirs and such, so they're nothing more than just collectibles, but again, they're harmless. You can even buy food. Give them to Sonic and you get XP. Give them the chip and... he talks? And this guy won't give you the food till you do a mission! What? Oh yeah, twice you'll be able to shoot down enemies in the tornado, just like Sonic Adventure. Except here, you press different buttons and you know what? Fair enough. Again, Xbox buttons don't work with me, so oof. I do enjoy the story too. Sonic games typically went a bit confusing after Adventure, and after this game, and Black Knight if I'm being honest, stories in Sonic games have either been bad and boring or non-existent. This game, however, has a good balance. Great storytelling with some good enough humor, I guess, while making sure not to go too far and make it complicated. There's also this part where Chip remembers who he is, and he's actually liked Gaia, and his job was to stop Dark Gaia and put the pieces back together. And just when he was going to go and do things himself, Sonic says this.
Do I need a reason to want to help out a friend? Thanks, Sonic.
Man, this is how to make Sonic's character good. There's cool, and then there's cool. You know what? Mega Silver was right. Actually, no, screw him. And just like Fanmail said in the beginning, this game looks really good. Dare I say, the best a Sonic game has ever looked so far. This is how you do a next generation jump. Not this. Everything's bright and the colors blend just right with the art style. Oh, and I really like the art style itself. Unlike 06 or even the adventure games, the humans don't look too realistic. They feel like they belong in a Sonic game, so it's almost not weird seeing Sonic with them. Also, those ice creams look so delicious. Chocolate chip sundae supreme. The voice acting is also pretty good. I wouldn't say it's amazing, but at least it's not.
Oh yeah!
In my opinion, Jason Griffith is the most consistently good Sonic voice, and the others are alright too. I find it funny how he handles the Werehog's voice. I wouldn't say bad, but it does go over the top at times. Also, in my opinion, he sounds like Tai Lung from Kung Fu Panda when they're fighting. And then the music. Leave it to Sonic to keep the music strong. This time, they went for an orchestral mood. 1 year before Mario, actually.
Especially that main menu music. Holy guacamole, it's incredible.
But that's not all. They also have different music for different regions and... well, I'm not a huge fan of all of them. Super glad they don't have the Irish music, because that becomes generic once you listen to that for enough years. But when I find music I like, they hit hard. Especially the Chinese and French music. And I like how it goes soft for the night stages. Not as good, but they do set the mood. That is until you start fighting. Then... me start on them E-Rack music. Ah, man, I love them.
So while this game perfects the day levels, the night levels with the Werehog leave a lot to be desired. Even for a hack and slash game, it's not that fun, and the controls feel flimsy for me. They're also slow-paced, uninteresting, and don't have clear objectives. While the idea is interesting, the execution really is not there.
Yeah, I've already said my thoughts on this, but I don't think I enjoy them very often. Although I do think it's alright for a hack and slash. I don't think I should be making that judgment. Outside of the Werehog, I do have my own little issues with the game. Actually, hold on. I do find it funny how he has the spiky shoes and he still slips on the ice. What's the point of giving him the shoes then? His quick stepping is, well, a little off. Granted, it's not as bad as Colors, but there are times when it doesn't feel very natural. How should I explain it? He doesn't move to where he should move at times? I don't know. There's the homing attack button issue I mentioned. No Sonic game has done that before or since, so why? I mean, it wasn't an issue once I got used to it, but why? And then the medals. Throughout the stages, on top of the other collectibles, there are the Sun and Moon medals, where if you collect enough of them, you can open new stages. So that means if you don't have enough, you will have to go back and find some more, which means checking everywhere and going slow just to move on. And I don't mind it in some games, but there are those I don't really like doing. This game is one of them, and I draw the line when I have to collect 16 more!
So the game leads up to Eggman making some kind of theme park dystopia land, which surprisingly seems common in Sonic Colors. And he calls this place Eggman Land, so rank S for naming skills. Anyways, Eggman Land is actually a pretty cool stage. It doesn't make the worst use of the whole Werehog/Sonic gimmick, and honestly slightly reminds me of the Arbiter's Ground from Twilight Princess, which is a really good Zelda dungeon.
Screw this level! Sorry to butt in, but this takes so long to beat, and I repeat, cannot deal with how long the Werehog stages last. Ah! It's not the worst stage I've ever played, and I may be overreacting, but man, did it really need to last this long?
Come on, Retro, it's only like 14-ish minutes.
This crap took me an hour. Don't! I know what you're gonna say. This is my show!
But anyways, the layout is cool. Again, it makes good use of both Sonic and the Werehog, and also, it has one of the best Sonic bosses in my opinion. The Egg Dragoon is just a really good boss fight, and it's a really satisfying final Eggman boss. So right before fighting the Egg Dragoon, Sonic and Chip reclaim the final Chaos Emerald, thus making the Earth whole again. So yay, except for one problem. The Egg Dragoon fight makes Sonic, Chip, and Eggman fall to the core of the Earth, and after beating Eggman, Dark Gaia, the actual big bad of this game, is quite upset. And so we start the final boss fight, but before that...
What? It's Dark Gaia!
Thank God this game has those 06 crisp CGI cutscenes, because they happen to be very sexy. Dark Gaia absorbs the dark energy from Sonic, which made him the Werehog, so he loses that, and then Chip, who is Light Gaia, who is evidently Dark Gaia's counterpart, does some pretty cool stuff and makes a giant temple mech straight out of an anime, which is used to defend Sonic before he can get back up and go super, say, Sonic. For a Supersonic boss, it isn't the worst, and it's definitely better than Solaris. Less confusing home attack stuff, no shadow and silver switching, and awesome visually.
I will say, for a Supersonic boss fight, it isn't the worst because this. But to be honest, I was hoping for a little more, at least vibe-wise. Frankly, the fight is pretty good, but taking down a shield, a quick time event, one hit to the eye, again, the rest is fine. I'm probably just nitpicking here. Chip is slow as fudge though. Oh, and Supersonic can lose his rings here. Not slowly over time because, I suppose that was dumb? But Dark Gaia can actually damage Supersonic, making him lose his rings. You could really tell I haven't beaten this game before my Mania review. Maybe the Phantom Ruby came from him. Though the rocks can also take your rings away, so... I got nothing.
After finally beating Dark Gaia, the Earth is finally fixed, and everyone Sonic and Chip helped along the way are happy. But Chip unfortunately can't make it, and disappears leaving Sonic his ring necklace bracelet thing, and now he'll never forget him. But who cares, cause endless possibilities!
I see it, and now it's all within my reach.
Endless possibility.
I see it now, it's always been inside of me. And now I feel so free, endless possibility. And that was Sonic Umbrella. And that was Sonic Unleashed. What do we think of it? Well, it's really half and half. Sorry Unleashed fans. I really enjoyed the daytime stages, not counting a few issues. The start, of sorts, of an interesting idea from Sonic Team after 06. Fast yet fun with some good challenges that test your reaction, mixed with some 2D sections that don't overstay their welcome, some beautiful visuals, and an amazing soundtrack. The nighttime stages, however, I wouldn't call them bad or anything, but it's not really something I look forward to when I play this game. Slow and takes forever to beat. I know you guys like this part, and if you do, good for you. But it has to be something said when I dread half of the game. So, is it a good game? Yeah, but I do wish they trended the facts. If you do want to get this game, the Xbox Series X is your best option, since the frame rate and loading times are so much better. Now we just gotta wait for 6 to be compatible.
This game happens to be another one of my childhood Sonic games, and I have a lot of good memories, and I also happen to be blinded by nostalgia, but for things like night stages, I totally understand that they're clunky, annoying, and long. But yeah, at the same time, it also does so many things right, and it's pretty cool how it's kind of the end of the adventure lineage of games, and also introduced all the things to start the boost generation of games. The music is awesome too, like Retro said, and also the graphics are really good. Now, as for the PS2/Wii versions of this game, here's a quick summary. The Wii and PS2 are pretty close in computing power, however, in comparison, the 360 and the PS3, it's not exactly fair. No flipping duh. Being less powerful, these versions had to take quite a few cuts. For example, the hub worlds are basically removed in place for these visual novel-esque things, and a lot of other content is changed or removed. For example, items like the stomping shoes are all given to you at the beginning, so you don't have to collect them, and obviously these versions look worse in general. In fact, they weren't even developed using the Hedgehog engine, but that's not to say they still don't look impressive despite the hardware, because to be honest, I generally find they look better than 06. And also, minus some shaking, the Wii port doesn't even rely on motion controls and controls pretty well. While these versions are downgrades and won't get you the same experience, they're still quite good and enjoyable in their own right.
While not a bad option for gaming, you'll still be better off with the HD versions. Also, screw the whole boosting mechanic and the motion controls, and when the nunchuck just doesn't want to walk right! You know, I was honestly expecting something to happen. Did it not work?
Well, if you don't recall, I only said this would maybe work, so, you might be stuck this way for a bit.
So you lied to me?
Oh, what's that? Oh, look at the time. I have an appointment, to, get my watch checked.
You don't have a watch!
Bye!
Well, that's just...
That one's going in the book of crust.
Well, that just sorta happened. But at least everything's the way it should be.
Seymour!
Hey, do you have any screwdrivers? I need them to build my Gundam.
You have a Gundam now?
You don't care how I like doing
We had pancakes only for this.
You don't have Uno either.
I mean, look at this. No Gmod, screenshots, gotcha mode. You're so lazy.
Well, excuse me, princess. I was going to, but not only am I in between 2 reviews, and also possibly 2 different animation styles I have to work with, for Blood Productions, I have to keep working, for my college, so sorry, but these things are keeping me in between to do more for you, okay? Sorry.
I'd like to see you edit a Cloud review.
Good idea. That's a very good idea. Come back to me when you review Mortal Kombat 9.
And another thing, you just changed your avatar again while I was talking, didn't you?
Oh, come on, Retro. It isn't as bad as your goddamn Kirby obsession.
What the heck are you talking about? I haven't even talked about Kirby in 3 years. You know what?
What, Grandma?
Forget about the collab. I am out of here. You'll never see me.
Oh, really? Oh, really? Really, really? Hey, now you get back here, old man. You just get the back here. Get over here now. We're doing this review right now, right here. Hell, I gave my time for this damn review. You old fuck! Wait. Why is everything blue? Like, what the hell is this? Everything's blue. Like, there's nothing moving at all. Like, not even this car is moving. And there's a portal. Like, there's a goddamn portal. Like, why the hell is there a portal? Wait, where? There's a portal?
Ow. Where the heck am I?
Huh. Deja vu.
Huh? Who are you?
I'm you from the future. Yeah.
Huh. Strange. I wear glasses and a red coat?
Huh. So that's what happens when you say time.
So, really, who are you?
Like I said, I'm you from the future. Do you not believe your future self?
Man, this guy is as annoying as Noah Eco the Hedgehog.
What the did you just say to me, you little
Huh?
Fine, I'm not you from the future. I'm someone you shouldn't know yet.
Your desk says Shumudu Brian.
Damn it! So, which point in time are you from?
Let's see. I started my channel around 2 months ago. I did the Mega Man cartoon review. Oh! I'm going to do a Sonic 2 review collab with some douchebag.
Somebody say Sonic the Hedgehog. Oh wait, it's not it.
You know what? I got a good thing for you.
Yeah? What is it, Noah? Why did you kidnap me?
As payback, I will make you review the worst game you will ever play.
Hey, are you okay?
Sonic Generations! Ugh. 2011. That was a year. We had some good games, the bane of my existence. But for us Sonic fans, a generation was mad.
Boo!
You should be frozen!
Oh, right. Crap.
Hey, thanks for having me, and thanks for the new microphone. But yeah, the 3DS released, I was still on my retro hype after discovering Super Mario All-Stars on a Wii. Skylanders was a thing I was into.
Glad that's finally dead.
Wait, it's dead now?
Oops. Spoilers.
The writing was on the wall anyway. And Sonic Generations for the 3DS. But later, when my family finally got our PlayStation 3, some things never change, I got Sonic Generations for that system. And have I talked about my history with Sonic before?
Yeah, I think so. Now move aside.
But what about my history? I played this right after college.
So here's my history. I saw a commercial for the 3DS. I wanted that version, but I got the Xbox version first, but then I got the 3DS version. And that's about it. But now that Sonic Frontiers is arriving soon, me and the old man were thinking of, taking a look at the last good Sonic game. Well, unless Frontiers proves to be very good.
The last good Sonic game?
Oops.
After Sonic Colors released, Sega realized...
we don't have an anniversary game!
And after some leaks, polls, and a cancelled Wii port, oops, the game released on the 1st of November...
Actually, stop that. Here's another spoiler. You stopped doing that ages ago.
God damn it.
So, the story. Look, I'm not gonna sugarcoat it. There's all about it. Really, there's not much. Trust me, I'll summarize it right now in a paragraph. Spoilers, I don't care. So basically, it's Sonic's birthday. He and his friends are about to start partying until the Time Eater comes along and vacuums Sonic's friends. Sonic gets slapped, wakes up in the white void, he meets his younger self, they get Chaos Emeralds, the Time Eater is controlled by the Eggman, the Sonic save the day, the end.
I mean, it does get you going right away, but if you're going to write a story, well, I'll get to the writing part later.
Honestly, I think this might have been for the best that we didn't get much because, well...
So the game is split into two, the classic formula and the boost formula. Let's start with the classic.
I'll tell you anything you want to know.
Get the f away from me!
Since people were going, why can't you be more like the Gender Driver game, Sonic Team? Why don't you make Beta Cat's not talking Noom anymore? So then they just did it. Right this time. You go from left to right in a speedy fashion while doing some platforming to reach the signpost. And what a good move they made. The platforming isn't too bad, and Sonic still moves pretty fast with some good momentum. Well, sort of. There are a bit of differences. Similar to Crash Insane Trilogy, the physics don't feel the exact same as before. They couldn't replicate the old games, which is fair, and the Hedgehog engine wasn't designed for 2D gameplay in mind. Again, which is fair. You can spin dash like normal, but you also have a separate button for it too, which is cool. And holy crap is it powerful! In fact, if you know the glitch, you can gain some insane time bonuses. I mean, I suppose it's easier for newbies, and I was one of them. But damn! On the not so positive side, however, you can't tap the button anymore or else he does this. He rolls in place a little with no momentum and kills the flow. And you can still roll normally just fine by pressing down while moving. Why is this here? Also, his starting up speed is a bit slow. It takes a bit longer than usual, and it's especially hard when trying to platform. But really, those are the only issues I can think of. It's not as good, but it's still pretty good, and I really enjoy playing through these.
Classic is okay in Gen, but he's not as great as he is in, classic games or Mania, but he isn't as horrible as he is in, Sonic the Hedgehog 4 Episode 1 and 2 and Forces. Sonic Forces. But there is modern Sonic, and well, I play modern Sonic more than classic Sonic. I mean, I'm pretty sure that's what everyone else also does. Modern Sonic controls a little better than his Colors counterpart because we're not playing Colors. And that's with a U, by the way. That's with a U because that's how you say Colors. You don't just remove the U. That's stupid. As such, quick stepping is not as annoying in Colors or its Ultimate version. Sonic doesn't have a double jump, which doesn't make him feel like he's in a Castlevania game. The homing attack is good, and there's the stomp. It exists, but it's not as questionable as the lightspeed dash. Like why? Why is there two different types of rings, I just don't get it. But of course, there's the boost. It was good in Colors, it was fine in Unleash at first, but once you got that upgrade, it was a nightmare because it was linked to the homing attack button. But in Generations, well... So yeah, it was good.
Yeah, it's good old dashing like a maniac gameplay.
What are you?
What? Was there something I said? Well, I did enjoy Sonic Colors. And there's a remake now? What? I will say, it did have its rough spots. And Unleashed had the Werehog. And the boost button turn. This is the best boost gameplay I have ever experienced. The homing attack button is the same as the jump button now, though funny enough, it took a while to get out of my Unleashed habits. I was recently playing the game. There's no double jump, which is, well, I suppose a little better. The drifting is better. The level design is perfectly balanced with the speed, though admittedly not as good as Unleashed, especially with the difficulty. Unfortunately though, this will be the last game to use the lightspeed dash, and I'm sad.
Well...
The ranking is, of course, back, but, it's a little easier to get the S ranks now. All you really have to focus on is getting to the end faster and not dying. And I'm not saying I got all of the S ranks, but there are times I feel like I didn't deserve them.
Yeah, I agree, it's just too easy to get an S rank. I feel like I should be getting a B rank, you know? And just to say it, also there's like no E ranks. Like why? Come on, man. That was just cool. Like, I mean, I want to hear myself listening to some E rank fail music. That's like the best.
The game looks really nice too. Granted, it's not as amazing as Unleashed, but still, I like it. As I kinda explained before, the game's engine was built on top of the Hedgehog engine Unleashed was using, which really shows if you pick apart the game's code. Regardless, it still looks amazing, and having the stages from the older games in a new coat of paint, man, I'm just happy right now. It all looks just how it's supposed to. Heck, even Green Hill Zone looks more natural than Sonic Adventure 2. Just to clarify, I'm not dissing SA2's Green Hills. I just think one looks better than the other. 2D or 3D, they both look stunning.
Yeah, the game looks nice. It's great to see these zones reimagined, and they don't clash too much in my opinion. But how about the music? Because hot damn, these tracks are so good, like, yeah! Junsuno returns once again to compose, and while he did most of the work, he didn't do it alone. Now, these composers have a history of making Sonic-like music, like, you know, Crush 40, Naofumi Mataya, and a bunch of others. And most of them are good, like, real good. But I'll tell you about them when we talk about stages. Alright, young old man, you're up.
The music is so freaking good! Oh my god! I'll also talk more about them later, but jeez! I'm not sure about some of them, like dance remixes? Really? And I suppose it's not true Mega Drive music in some of them, still better than Sonic 4 though. But it's so good! Moving on to the levels, there's 3 zones for each of the 3 eras. The classic era, the modern era, and in the middle, the Dreamcast era? Sonic Heroes was not on there. There has to be a better name. And no, not Green Eyes. Sonic still has those nowadays. 3D Spin Dash, no. The Ryan German era? Yeah, that's a much better name. So, Green Hill Zone, as expected. The first zone is more or less similar to the original, while the boost one is, well, there's some differences. You can go underground, but hot damn does it look so good in HT, and it's still fun with a little bit of platforming. Dare I say, better than the original? Probably?
It's Green Hill Zone again! Like, okay, it makes sense, but God, there's so much Green Hill Zone. They made it Sandy and Forces. It's gonna be in Frontiers. It was in Smash Bros. It was in Adventure 2. It's everywhere. Like, now, like, please, leave me alone, Green Hills. I don't want to see you again.
Wait, what? Come on, Brian, stop kidding. There's no way they'd put that in Forces. I mean, look at it. It's clearly something new.
Oh, you'll hate it. You'll hate it soon enough. Very soon. Anyway, next up is... God damn it!
What? It's not that bad, and it's the first time they brought this level back.
Chemical Plant. It is nice seeing Chemical Plant again in 3D. The classic version is okay and all, but the modern version, like, oh yeah, now this is happening. The track just slaps real good, like a real slap. Going through it, it's so good. It's like, it's just great. It's like, I just like it. I just like when, like, midway through the zone, it just starts exploding, and I'm like, yeah, that's fantastic. It's just great, but...
Yeah, while I do prefer other levels from Sonic 2, Chemical Plant was the obvious choice. Once again, Act 1 is the same, while Act 2 is more original than the Xbox One. I especially like how you can jump off from here and land on the other pipes. A nice alternative path and very nice detail to the old Chemical Plant. And I also like how you can boost off the water. Sky Sanctuary. Honestly, I feel like there's more stages that would have made more sense. Like Flying Battery! Come on! Well, at least it's also a good stage. Not too sure about the classic music, but the modern one is amazing. Dear God. Oh, not too much to say. I really hate how they brought back that annoying gimmick from Marble Garden, and it's worse here. But that's all I can really say. It was good back then, and both acts are good here. I really like the platforming bits in Act 2 too. I wish I wrote that down a little bit better.
Sky Sanctuary is okay, it looks nice, the modern track is gorgeous, there's the green platforms that only stays up for like, a few seconds, it's kind of annoying. I mean, this is fine, but like what Retro said, I think some other zones from Sonic 3 and Knuckles would have been better. Speed Highway. It's like a speed demon. I don't listen to that Chagachi often. Well, Speed Highway is alright, the modern act is a blast, but I like the classic act more than the modern. Even if it's more platform-like than Speed, but it's not that bad. I mean, I do have to say though, both tracks are really good though.
Yeah, I agree with you. Not too much more to add to it. Dance remix, great remix, still fun overall. City Escape!
Rolling around at the speed of a leg.
What the fudge? City Escape, platforming, speed. Why the heck did I write this down? There's a skateboard power-up in the classic, which is really nice and really hard to keep, and the gun truck. Dear God, the freaking truck! It follows you through all of Act 1 as more of a stage hazard, and it appears at the end of Act 2 with oh dear God, what the freaking pizza is this? When did Gun get the budget to make it fly? It can fly now? Who the heck is driving that and it's thinking it's fine? What the heck is going on here? Who is this game? What is this game? Why is this game?
I think I'll be able to catch that pesky hedgehog once and for all. After all these upgrades I made. He'll never escape. Oh, there he is. Okay, let's get this. Come on, what is it? Left, up, down. I don't remember how to do this. I should have spent all that money in upgrades. Curse you, Sonic!
City Escape. What else can be said other than must keep on moving ahead. No time for guessing, follow my plan instead. Trust in what you can see. Take my lead, I'll set you free.
Yeah, both musics are so good! Even the dance remix! Why does it all have to be dance? Is it me, or do the robots here look more like Transformers or something?
Seaside hit. Oh no.
Sonic Heroes! Sonic Heroes! Find you, confine you, defining your reach!
So Seaside Hill, it looks nice. Act 1 is alright, it gives me Hydro City vibes. The modern act is cool, they get the turtles or the cars, but both acts also have Ocean Palace, so it's like, why is it only called Seaside Hill and not Seaside Hill plus Ocean Palace? Okay, actually, never mind, I just realized why. I will say, the modern act is fantastic. Putting both Seaside Hill and Ocean Palace together is like, yes! But Act 1 is meh. However, you know what would have been cooler and better? If for this stage, Tails and Knuckles would help you out, and it would be like, oh, that's cool, it's just like Sonic Heroes.
I'm not sure if you know.
You reviewed Sonic Heroes, so go!
Alright! So anyway, because I love Sonic Heroes, I was so happy about this. I was a lost child when that game wasn't in the 3DS version. This stage is not my game! And I'm happy to say that I love this stage here too. I don't think it's as good as original, fight me, but it's still really fun. A really good underwater section, still speedy, and man, that music! Welcome back, old friend. Crisis City.
There's crisis in this city. In Crisis City. No refunds, by the way, people.
I suppose Sonic 06 is a bad game and everything, and I understand that despite still enjoying it for the wrong reasons and everything. And this game is clearly better. But I have to say, the events of Sonic 06 got erased from existence, so, what is this stage doing there? This stage was so bad in 06, not gonna lie. Here, it's really good. Bad memories turned into good ones. Or the opposite since, I played generations before 6. So, lava! Not much else to say here, apart from that time when the goalpost was taken away from me. Like that time I lost my marbles playing Alex Kidd in the Enchanted Castle featuring Screw You!
Why not try out these games?
Huh. Bubsy and Eco? Alright. What could possibly go wrong? Huh. Mortal Kombat 9? Probably not.
Damn it! Look, aside from it making no sense in universe to be here, but... I don't care, because we got a Sonic 06 stage, like, yeah, I mean, I would have preferred, like, Kingdom Valley. I mean, I know it's cool, but, like, Crash said, oh, that's good, I like it, I mean, this is great, I love playing this stage. Goddamn Sonic 06 is a fantastic thing, like, the modern act, it's great, like, the tornado, they've got it cool. You get an achievement for doing absolutely nothing, like, if you don't get hit, well, not exactly doing nothing, but, like, if you don't get hit by any cars, it's cool, like, the classic act, it's, like, cool, like, it's, like, there's a little troll, it's so funny.
Get back here!
And the platform was hard, but still it was enjoyable. And the tracks and the track for Act 1 is okay, but like Act 2, it's like here, like let's fucking go. Like this is a textbook. Like this is a textbook example of why Sonic 06 is underrated, and you have to buy it right. Just go. Rooftop Run is good. I liked Act 1. It's alright, but I like the Sonic 1 commercial reference where he jumps on Big Ben. Oh, you didn't know that was a reference to the Sonic 1 Japanese commercial? Well, now you know. Act 2 is good, but it does feel like you're just playing the Unleashed version with just a few little differences. But, you know what would have been really cool? If for a few parts of Act 2, you transform into the Werehog and beat the ever-loving out of the enemies in a Werehog-like fashion with that nice little jazz track from the game.
Yeah, I kind of agree. Act 1 is alright, though the music is another dance remix and it's just plain weird at this point. Stop! Act 2 and its music is very similar, though I do believe Unleashed's version is a bit more better since it's harder. Still a good stage though. Planet Wisp! Yum! Got to be honest, didn't think they'd use the wisps here. But hey, Sonic Lost World did it! I hope they don't do it again. Anyway, there's the Spike Wisps for Act 1, which is very appropriate, and the Wrecker Wisp for Act 2. They're a little worse, not gonna lie. The Spike Wisp feels weird to control for some reason, and the Rocket, you have the option to hold it down. For no reason. Same for the zone itself. Dance Remix. They go on for a lot longer now, and it comes out of nowhere. And with Act 2, I mean, the 3D part is so much better than Colors, but most of the act is in 2D. I'm not sure if that was a good idea, Sonic Team. This would have been the one that could have benefited from Generations change the most. This stage isn't even my first pick. What about Tropical Resort? Or Aquarium Park? Or even Sweet Mountain? I'm not even fond of that place.
So remember what I said, what the Heroes and the Unleashed stage could have had, like using some mechanics from those games? Well, it seems they did that for the Colors stage. But they just didn't do it with the ones that I, kind of suggested, it would have been cool. Oh well. The stage is okay, but god, I hate Act 1's remix. I mean, Act 2's track is alright, but it also sounds kind of a bit similar to, how it does in the original. Yeah, I will tell you this, it is better than how it sounds in Ultimate. Trust me, I don't think anyone wanted to hear that Ultimate remix.
If you couldn't tell from the beginning, the writing in Generations is basically non-existent. Who and what is the Time Meter? Why is he here? How did Eggman control him? Why isn't it fighting back? Why is there a void? Why is the solution to bringing back life to the world is to run fast? Why is Sonic the only one not to be frozen? Why does Eggman get kidnapped twice? It's not that the story's confusing or anything, it's that they don't bother. And it's the same writers from Colors, whose only knowledge of Sonic is through quick looks on YouTube. I appreciate the small callbacks like Chemical Plant and Secret Rings out of all games. And I even like the fact that Knuckles is right beside some grapes, which is his favorite food. So that's your fun fact for the day. The writers supposedly had more input with this game than Colors, but I don't see it. And I'm sorry, that running fast to see the world bit is just so stupid. How does it work? Does Exxon Boom just poof and everything's got color now? I know he's the fastest freaking thing alive and everything, but come on!
As I said earlier, it was better that we got very little story because it could have been worse. Much, much worse. And just to make it clear, if I had to make a comparison, basically Generations would be World of Light and Forces would be goddamn Mortal Kombat 11, also known as Combat 11. I do want to also mention it is weird that Classic Sonic is not voiced whatsoever. Like, yeah, you get to hear Classic Tails and Classic Eggman being voiced, although it is also weird that they didn't hire different actors for this. Like, it would have been interesting if they got a different voice actor for Classic Eggman. And while, yeah, I could excuse it for Classic Tails, not Classic Eggman. I mean, I think I hear that they did consider trying to get Jaleel White to play back as Classic Sonic, but I mean, that's what I hear, but I'm not sure if it's true. But that would have been cool, actually, just saying. But it is interesting to see how modern Sonic is quite different from his younger days. Until Sega finally backtracked and realized, yeah, that was stupid. Like, what the f happened during Forces? But you know what would make the story a bit better? If they had goddamn Big the Cat. Big the Cat! Anyway, let's move on.
And before we get to the bosses, we should talk about everything else! The red rings are so much better than colors. Instead of needing them to unlock Supersonic, they just unlock collectibles, which means I can collect them whenever I feel like it, and unlock something when I find one. You can unlock models, bios, concept art, and music. Some of them are even remixes. Shout out to whoever did Toxic Cave. Oh, and you can also replace the music from the normal stages, which is really cool. I can now play the normal version of the Green Hill Zone song while playing as Classic Sonic. You can also go to the secret room where you can unlock trophies through secret codes. It's fine. Don't expect much. Chips here though, and you can also buy some equipment and stuff to give you a little bit extra while playing through the game. I usually don't use them, but it's very nice to have that option. And look at that! You can also play the original Sonic 1 on here. Is something wrong with this console? I seriously don't remember this happening. Okay, it's fine now. Must have been a one-time thing, I hope. The sound is very off, but other than that, it works just fine. Who the heck is dumb enough to play through the game like that? And then there's the missions. Short bits of the levels with a challenge and twist. Race to the end against a faker, have a character help you out or go against them, use an elemental shield.
Some of the friend missions include having Classic Tails help you out in Chemical Plant, Rouge seducing the enemy robots. I mean, I don't know how that makes sense. Like, how does she do it? Like, okay, it works. Or Vector, where you home and attack his rhythm. You should have seen Retro's reaction to it.
How fast do you think it's gonna go next?
Oh, no! No! I hate No, you're not doing this!
Anyone remember the Ganondorf boss fight in Ocarina of Time? Anyway.
The bosses. There aren't that many, there's only just 7. So starting with the faker boss fights. For Classic Sonic, he's fighting against Metal Sonic. For Modern Sonic, he's fighting against Shadow and Silver. Metal is alright, but it's weird seeing his classic look. Like, he looks shorter and kinda adorable. You know, he just looks kinda a little adorable. He doesn't look that threatening. Kinda looks more threatening in the Pixel days. But like, he's like the second easiest boss because Shadow. Like, damn, they did you dirty, Shadow. Like, the Ultimate Life Forms boss fight, like, it's just too easy. Like, when you expect the Ultimate Life Form, like, it's supposed to be a bit more challenging. Granted, Adventure 2's race battle wasn't really that fun, but still, could have been better. And just, Silver's boss fight in Generations is, like, just better than these two. Now, while yes, Silver's boss fight in 06 is, well, not really that hard. Like, it's so easy, like, once you know it. Yeah, it can be hard at first, but like,
I don't know how to tell you. It's a bit easy.
But otherwise, yeah, it's easy. But Jesus, who designed it, it was horrible. Either way, Generations fixed it to make it, you know, fun and not too easy. So overall, yeah, Shadow and Metal seem to be not that good, but Silver, gold star.
The first two I got easy, but I still enjoyed them, especially with the music going. Not sure why I'm fighting Shadow or Silver, but whatever. Also, what a hot take you have there, Shimoda. And the other bosses are, well, like another boss. What's really annoying is that you can't access them unless you get a key from one of the missions in each zone, which is stupid. I mean, the missions themselves aren't bad, but I'd much rather do them my own time. Anyway, the first one is the Death Egg robot. It's fine. It's easy as expected since you're fighting him early on in the game, but does anyone else find it weird since he's a final boss in Sonic 2? Kinda sad. Next up is Perfect Chaos. Hey, it's a beta design. Doesn't make much sense when you think about it, but it's really cool and sort of a bittersweet seeing it here since it was scrapped due to hardware limitations. Anyway, I think this is a bit better than the original, mainly because it's not just you dodging everything and hoping you have enough speed. I like the platforming bits with the boosting into him. Huh, he doesn't need Super Sonic to defeat him anymore? Dear God. And finally, sort of, we've got the Egg Dragoon from Unleashed, which is very different from the original game since there's no Werehog here. It's fine, not much to say.
I have the same opinion as Retro for those bosses. The Death Egg is like, very easy compared to Sonic the Hedgehog 2, like a bit too easy. The Egg Dragoon, it's kind of weird not fighting it when you're not the Werehog and you're just normal Sonic. It kind of feels weird, you know? And God bless Perfect Chaos. The timer can go off. So like, I'm pretty sure someone at the Sonic team was like, so like, I mean, it's not a bad idea, like, what bosses could we take inspiration to do? We could take the ableist worm-like boss in Sonic and Shadow's adventure in 06, and then we do that. And then someone was like, sure, why not? But like, the guys were thinking that maybe they needed to spice it up a bit, so they went like, hey, let's make your friends be annoying. They go like,
that looks like a flying pizza!
It's Sonic. Watch out for those homing shots.
You better be careful if you want to stay out of here.
Oh, Sonic, it's about to slow down. Oh, you need to do something.
Does anybody know where I parked the paddy wagon? Who put my Pokemon inside my secret sauce? Honey, do you know where the door went?
you know guys, thank you, Finn, thank you. Just thank you for the 5,000th time. You know what? You could be more helpful, a bit more helpful, like getting up your lazy asses and help me out right now, you asses. The time meter can also just slow down time for no reason, just making it like much more frustrating. Like, gee, I want to move on this next century. Oh, but I saved the best for last. The sun being half there. I just have one simple question. Who said yes to this boss fight?
I did.
Yeah, no. Boring freaking boss. It's all so slow and there's not much going on. I've got nothing else to add. Although, that's some good use of the Sonic 4 team. Always felt like the Invincibility team was better than the Super Sonic team. And after that, Sonic and his friends are saved, while Modern Eggman and Classic Robotnik are stuck in a white void. And no, we don't see how they escaped in Lost World.
Don't you mean Robotonic?
What?
Never mind.
Oh yeah, two more things to mention. One, we've got Super Sonic again for both Classic and Modern Sonic. Classic Sonic isn't as overpowered as his olden days. In fact, I don't think he has a higher jump or faster speed anymore. While Modern, he can fly! Woo! They also break the ranking system, as if it wasn't easy enough to get an S rank. I feel like Sonic Colors did it better. You know, it's harder to get an S rank there as Super Sonic since you can't use the other Wisp's power, and you need them for those extra points. Not amazing, but I'm glad Super Sonic is starting to be a norm again. And there's also the pre-order bonus Casino Night Zone, or just free DLC if you have the Steam version. It's just pinball. Nothing much, but it's nice as far as pre-order bonuses go. And that was Sonic Generations. What do we think of it? Well, it's great. As its own game, I understand why not too many people will call it the greatest game or anything. There's zero originality here, not much story, no new levels, and easy bosses. But for this time as an anniversary game, and after so many not so great games, I'd take it. The levels are so goddamn fun, and that's what I like about this. Even if the rest isn't amazing or even good, as long as the meat of the game is god tier and I'm still having fun, for the right reasons, I'd still call that a good game. And with Forces coming up, in my timeline at least, I do hope it's even better than Generations. I mean, they've got the level design down. All they need to do is make some originality, and I'd say we got the best boost game. Oh, and the game looks and sounds amazing.
At the time, I'm pretty sure people were hoping that Sonic Generations would be good, considering that the last anniversary game, Sonic 06, didn't really do so well. But with Colors giving people some fate, people were right to give Generations a good bit of hope, and, well, it was, a good game. It's a good anniversary game. But in my opinion, I think Generations still holds up today. Some of the tracks are really great, while others range to be okay to not really good. And playing each of the levels are just fantastic. While the story was lacking, which, yeah, I wish we had more. I already said it before and a few times, but I'll reiterate this. It's meant that we did get not much, compared to 2014 and 2017. So, should you get it? I'd say yeah, you should. It's worth your money. But, with Frontiers coming very soon, hopefully Sonic Team will finally be able to get out of a trap. A bit of a vicious cycle, if you will. With that said, I do hope that Frontiers will do well, and that the next game after Frontiers will do quite well and might possibly be able to break the cycle. I really do hope this is the case, because otherwise, I'll be watching Sonic from afar, but still be playing some of the other Sega games that, Sega does well with. And hope Atlas stops with their stupid DLC practices! Oh, but there's also the 3DS version, which, as you guessed, is not the same as the console version, and why don't I point out some of these little differences? For one, the Timer boss is a bit better than the console version, which I wonder how that happened. Two, most of the levels except Green Hill, as well as the bosses, are replaced. So yeah, you got some different zones, so instead of seeing a chemical plant, you get to the Casino Night zone. Or instead of Planet Wisp, you get to hear Tropical Resort. That's nice. And getting the Chaos Emeralds are a bit different, whereas you just have to beat some bosses and get it in the last level. Instead, you get it by Sonic Heroes style. Now it's not as bad because it's kind of done better. And the Faker battles just plain out now suck. They're just races, that's it, it's boring. And there's still not much of a story. But now in visual novel style. And also apparently Classic Sonic can use the homing attack. Okay then.
It's obviously not as good as the console version, and maybe this is my nostalgia talking, but I still enjoy it. And if you want to play the console version, I recommend the Xbox Series X. From what I hear in the future, this version improves the frame rate from 30 to 60, and it natively upscales the graphics. However, there is a glitch. In Act 2 of Chemical Plant, there is the shortcut where Sonic just falls. I have no idea why this happens at all, but if you come to this level, best to turn off the frame rate boost. When I heard about it before recording the game, I thought the whole game would run faster than it should or something like that, so oops, everything's 30 frames. Hey, you know what? This whole frame rate boost stuff is actually pretty cool coming from the Xbox out of all things.
So, you figured it out, huh? Was it too easy?
Well, you've changed your model and name, but you can't hide your voice and douchebagginess.
Even though it's a younger you, feels quite nostalgic. Still haven't changed much. Minus the fact that you look a bit see-through. Oh, it's not blue anymore.
I suppose that worked? Not sure what we did though. Hey, assuming I don't remember this like Doctor Who style, tell me, are my reviews still enjoyable?
Even though you don't have many subscribers, yeah, they're still enjoyable. And I have fun reviewing it.
That's very good to hear.
See ya later, old man.
This is Retrominimii, signing out. Wait, hold on, before I go, is Sonic Forces good?
Oh yeah. Hey, you remember it? That damn game from the past?
I sure do. And it's about damn time I leave it there. Oh yeah, and Mega Silver 3000 was editing his review the whole time. In case you're wondering why he wasn't showing up at all. So, yeah, this was recorded last minute, and I thought I should say something. Hope you enjoyed the video.
Well, that's a wrap on the Batman Arkham Origins review. Glad I got to put that out before Christmas. Huh? He's still just sitting there? Looks like I'm gonna have to call him again. Hello? Yeah, he's lost it again.
Somebody called the player? You mind explaining what you were doing staring onto the floor for God knows how long? Oh, don't tell me. You're doing a little rerun of that stupid Donkey Kong review you did like a year ago? And why do you have Sonic Forces? Wait. You have Sonic Forces right there. You have the cameras pointing down. And you're drunk again. You can't be serious. You're doing it. You're actually doing it.
I don't want to do this game. It's bad.
Am I seriously the only one who actually thinks this game is decent?
You
got a problem? Yeah, I said it. I actually like Sonic Forces. Come over here and help me fight against those who objectify.
No. I'm too lazy to edit that. However, if I'm going down, I am taking you with me. Because there is no greater feeling than to be here with you. We're one together on this green light ride. Drive through forever on this goddamn green light ride.
You are gonna reveal this to me right now, or I'm unsubscribing.
Good, because if you don't do this with me, I'm unsubbing you.
You're not even good enough to be my rival.
I'll make you eat those.
Can you two just shut up?
Picture this. Picture this. 2017. What a year for gaming, personally at least. The Nintendo Switch was released, and what a console that was. Along with some great games like Super Mario Odyssey, Zelda Breath of the Wild, Mario Kart 8 Deluxe, Mario Rabbids Kingdom Battle. I mean, it's an all-out game, but it exists. It's amazing. Skylanders Imaginators got ported to the Switch. Rest in peace, you money-grabbing legend. There was also the SNES Mini with Star Fox 2 finally getting a release, Crash Insane Trilogy, which led to another great remaster the next year. Super Mario Run was alright. We were finally getting a port of Versus Super Mario Bros, which was awesome. Pokemon Go released. It's alright, but it ruined my family. Metroid Prime 4 got announced. I swear, if you don't get the game in the next 5 years. Sonic freaking Mania! They also made a new Bubsy game. Fortnite. We don't talk about Fortnite. And outside gaming, we got some good movies like the new Jumanji movie, Cars 3, Spider-Man Homecoming, the Emoji Movie. I mean, I haven't seen it yet, but... And the birth of my YouTube channel. Man, 5 years is... Man. And a moment of silence for the death of Mivas. And I always love you. But of course, it couldn't all be sunshine and rainbows. There was one dark storm, one that would rain on my parade. As if rain was uncommon around here. This place sucks! I complain about this game so much, I sometimes forget I was really hyped for it. The reveal trailer showed Sonic going in a new dark direction for the series. Same people who did Sonic Generations and Colors. Basically Sonic Team. This new direction was something I was looking forward to. Will we finally get Sonic Adventure 3? Yes, I'm one of those people. I mean, classic Sonic's here, I suppose. If it's not Sonic Generations 2, then I have got to see. Oh, it's another Boost game. Well, it's fine. They've nailed Generations. I have confidence. The music so far was still good. If I can hear it at least! Huh. Custom character creation? That's actually kinda cool. Wait, Shadow? We'll find Shadow? Metal? Zavok? Chaos? 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 Wait, that's from Sonic Mania. Interesting. And this new villain called Infinite seems really cool. And there's gonna be a Shadow story as DLC? That's it! This is gonna be sweet! Man, I know I'm talking about this so much, but... Man, remember when the Switch was still called the NX? Remember when we got this Nintendo Direct and everyone thought this guy was Bubsy? Bubsy! And then 3 months later we got a review trailer for the new Bubsy game. You maniacs! You brought him back! And then, it released one fateful November night. I didn't have any consoles to play it on at the time until Christmas of that year, when my grandma got me the Super Mario Odyssey bundle. And I just couldn't resist, I had to buy it. And I didn't like it. And I tried to. I really did. Mania was good. Odyssey was good. I've beaten it very, very quickly with not that much skill. It took me to the end to realize that I got hyped for nothing. You can tell your history now, Zap. Sorry about that.
My history was alright. I mean, we obviously got Sonic as the main character. What do you expect? It's Sonic Forces! On the good note, Classic Sonic is back. We have the Avatar character, which is supposed to be based on the player, like me, you, or the viewer, or anyone for that matter. And of course the rest of the Sonic crew, Silver, as well.
It's no use!
So, is this game as bad as I remembered? Or are the Forces fans right? Well, time to find out. Sorry about that. I can't seem to get rid of this 10 on my PS5. Help?
The game starts off with Eggman doing yet another one of his inventions, but this time he possesses a strange ruby red gem he calls the Phantom Ruby, or Phantom Ruby Prototype, which is supposed to be a powerful gemstone rivaling the Chaos Emeralds and even the Master Emerald. It's mainly known for its virtual reality manipulation, as you can tell from the original trailer where you saw Shadow, Zavok, Metal Sonic, and Chaos. Yeah, that's right, they're not real, they're only illusions. And clones. We find Tails and the other citizens being ambushed by Eggman and the robots. Again. That is until you know who comes around and saves the day. Again. Cliche as always for your typical protagonist. Eventually facing the virtual reality projections of Shadow, Zavok, Metal Sonic, and Chaos. But suddenly, a new ultimate life form has approached the scene, being called Infinite the Jackal. He causes trouble for the blue hedgehog boy and apparently is faster than him too. By Tails' logic, for some dumb reason. I mean, a simple dodge doesn't solve a case, it's just skill. Anyone could do that. Do more research. But I'm getting off topic here. Infinite takes out Sonic effortlessly and keeps him away in a facility, assumed to be dead from aiming the rest of the team, which is led by Knuckles as the remaining commander. How nice. However, with However, with Tails trying to find a way to make Omega function again, the Chaos clone attempts to attack. But Sonic comes back to save the day, again. Classic Sonic to be specific from the Sonic Mania series. Series? What the f am I talking about? It's a one-time thing. Classic Sonic to be specific from Sonic Mania, not to be confused with Sonic Generations. Of course, they team up to track down the modern day Sonic along with friends. But here's something new. The city is being terrorized by Infinite, with the Avatar... basically the player having the balls to oppose Infinite to stop his reign of terror. I mean, for him to be taking on the most powerful form with the goddamn Phantom Ruby at his disposal, and the player only having a mere weapon as hand, yeah, I'd pretty much be scared too, yeah. Sonic wakes up captured in the private zone with Zavok preparing to fight. When the battle ends, Zavok chromatically disappears, turning out to be a clone created by virtual reality from the Phantom Ruby's prototype. I mean, I literally just said that earlier, but I'm just going along with the script. Don't mind me. Sonic then meets up with the Avatar, and they both escape the facility, quickly becoming friends in an instant. Jesus, 6 months has passed, and yet Eggman conquered 99% of the world.
There's a lot I have to say about the story as a whole, but we'll get to that later. For now, let's get to the gameplay. So the game is split into 3 gameplay styles: Modern, Classic, and a new Avatar. And Sonic and Avatar together, but I'll get to that. Modern is pretty much what you expect. Jump, home and attack, boost, wisp, Wisps. The Wisps. Okay, they returned in Sonic Lost World with no explanation, and now they're here too, with no explanation. Keep in mind that Sonic could boost just fine without them in Unleashed and Generations, so why are they... Anyway, where do I start with him? Sonic doesn't feel as good to control. I mean, his boosting is pretty much standard, but when he's not boosting... He has this thing where he suddenly gains speed just like that, and when he goes past a speed boost without boosting, he slows down again. I mean, sure, fine-ish. It's minor, but I can deal without it. Then there's the level design. It's too freaking easy. You literally just hold the boost button and you win. Maybe you need to jump or home and attack, but you just boost and nothing else. I mean, look at this! On this level, I assumed it was only a small section of a level when I saw it in the trailer. But no, this is the whole level, and it's nearly midway through the game too. Actually, before I forget, let me go back to the controls. They removed the drifting. I mean, fine, I guess. All you have to do is to boost! But then there's this section where you will fall off if you're not careful. Come on, dude. I will give credit where credit is due. The 2D sections aren't that bad. They're alright. Much better than Colors, in fact. It doesn't rely on the boost that often, and it's not a bunch of blocks everywhere. It's actually pretty good. Huh. There is some modern sucks though.
I don't really see anything wrong with the gameplay all that much, but the homing attacks I kinda feel I could do better. It feels like the S ranks are easier to achieve.
Oh yeah, the S ranks. Man, they're just as easy to get as Generations. It's already bad enough that they removed their lives, and don't give me that lives are outdated crap, shut up! And I will admit, I didn't get all of the S ranks, but I got way too many, more than I should have. And I died a lot on those stages too!
I remember dying on a stage 7 times to be exact. No, I mean it, 7 times, and yet I still got the A rank. This game is for babies.
See? See?
The classic Sonic gameplay feels like your typical old school Sonic. Nothing changed basically, same style as the first generation I suppose. I kinda wanted to see classic Sonic pick up a new skill of his own, like maybe newly improved homing attacks or...
No!
Super classic Sonic could also make a comeback after Generations. That is if it isn't a DLC! Sega! You had all this time in this short ass video game and Super Classic Sonic is a DLC? Forget my name being Shadow! This kind of chaos cannot be controlled! No, not here. No!
I'll get to that later.
Well, I guess we're gonna have to wait until his next debut, which will be in another decade. Speaking of debut, when is Hyper Sonic gonna come back? I miss him. I miss that transformation.
Anyway, I do like classic Sonic, don't get me wrong. He wasn't perfect in Generations, but he was fun enough. So what the heck happened to him in Forces? How? How could you mess this up? His physics feels off. He also has the whole sudden startup speed gain, and the going past the speed boost and slows down afterwards issue. That was a weird mouthful. I wish I had wrote that a bit better, but I don't know. And it doesn't sound like much, but this is kind of a big issue for classic Sonic. This means there's no momentum at all, and it's very noticeable how much of a flaw this is. Take this part for example. I'm going down a slope and everything, going down for a bit, and this is the result. Unless you're rolling, this is the speed you're gonna get. And it hurts even more after they just got it right with Mania. Speaking of which, they also added in the drop dash. So, yeah. And it's not as fun. I mean, it's not horrible, but it sometimes feels just plain weird to use. At least it's not as bad as Origins. That's how you know you've messed up, man. However, just like the 2D sections in the modern levels, these aren't half bad. Not great, but not bad. I mean, don't get me wrong, there are way too many speed boosters and hidden sprints, but it's alright. I even like the gimmicks they brought back, like those little tinnies in Sonic & Knuckles' Death Egg Zone. And then there's the avatar, which is probably the main selling point of the whole game. And honestly, I probably would have loved this a bit if I was a bit more creative. Meet Mustard. Mustard the Bud. He works at McDonald's. So the gameplay of the avatar is a bit similar to modern Sonic, from the controls to the stupid level design. You can't boost through this game, which is a plus, but now you've got your Wisp weapons, which are very overpowered. They practically destroy everything in your path, and some of them even stop you in their tracks. Cube weapon! You can also use the weapons with the wisps you find to do the Sonic Colors thing and find new paths? No, they just help you get to the end faster while also fighting some collectibles. Oh, and the homing attack sucks. It's like Shadow in Sonic 06. There's a huge delay. I do like how you get a small ability depending on which species you picked. Nearly forgot, so throwing this here.
There's also these missions that randomly pop up when you complete a certain zone from the story, and in some cases it lets you play as other people's characters. Why is my question? Like, ain't no point in doing that since the avatar you made is the one you need from the get-go? I mean, you can promote avatars and whatnot, I understand that, but it's not necessary to do all that.
And then you have the levels where you play as both modern Sonic and your avatar. Many people will compare this to Sonic Heroes. No! Screw off with that now! Look here, sonny boy. Nothing compares to Sonic Heroes. Not even Sonic Adventure. This is more like, look, it's me! And I'm helping Sonic. It's not much, really. It plays like modern Sonic, but you can also use your weapons here too. That's about it. I suppose it works, but there is one key difference. You can perform the double boost, which lets you boost at even higher speeds. Together we can show the world what we can do. We can show the world what we can do. We can show the world what we can do. It's just there. It's as automated as you can get.
Right.
What is that supposed to mean?
That was the most cringiest line I've heard in generations.
What are you calling cringe, Mr. Mech?
It's been generations since I seen you.
That's also me for being in one of these reviews, Retro.
Hey, don't blame me if you turned down the Super Metro collab and agreed to an SA2 when you haven't even played the damn game.
Hey! None of that. Shame on you.
What do you mean shame on me? Shame on you?
I said shut up!
Okay. So far, it's not looking good. And then you get to the levels. We get Green Hill Zone, and at this point, they're really pushing it. I didn't mind it in Generations. I kind of understood it in Mania, but was still fine. But then it appears again. That's like 3 mainline games in a row featuring this stage. Not counting Lost World unless you want to count this one.
But I like Green Hills. Don't you hate on the best stage in the world now, you?
Okay. Anyway, you then have Chemical Plant, and I'm starting to get scared that this is going to be the new Green Hill Zone. Don't get me wrong, Green Hill Zone is a pretty darn good stage, but it's just getting tiring at this point. And the worst part is that each playable character, including Modern and Avatar together, gets to play these levels. Meaning there are 4 freaking Green Hill stages, not counting that one boss and the 4 extra stages. I'll get to that later. Dude, stop! And the rest of the stages are just meh. The Day Effect returns, and that's kinda cool. We don't get that one as much nowadays. There's a city in ruins and Metropolis is also generic. There is this one small bit where Sonic and Avatar get sucked into null space, and then they get out with a double boost. one of the more interesting parts of the game, and it lasts 10 seconds and you do nothing. And don't test me with the name. The final levels just exist, and the Mr. Jungle is just a jungle. The classic version is the most interesting out of all of them. It's a casino jungle, but it's used once and not a lot happens. Oh, and that one Green Hill stage with the tag team, as I'm now gonna call it, most of it takes place inside this pyramid, and it's boring.
Stop on Green Hills! Actually, no. Green Hill Zone is fine by itself, but why mix it up with a desert? May as well call it Desert Hill Zone, right? Because it's a desert and it's combined with Green Hill. Shut up! Sand Hill Zone doesn't work out. Desert Hill does.
So, the story in general, it seems like it's gonna be good. New mysterious villain, Sonic feeling so hard, Eggman taking over most of the world, and after the avatar is introduced, it just goes back to nothing. Sonic gets broken out of prison with ease, Tails being scared of Chaos Zero, I repeat, Chaos Zero, after beating Chaos 4, then classic Sonic being here. So what do they do with him plot-wise? Nothing. He is here for no reason whatsoever. And this time, he's not just from the past. He's from another dimension. And to this day, I have no idea why they changed that. And supposedly, as you're trying to save the world, you're taking back parts of that world too. Somehow. It doesn't even seem like you're doing that. All I'm doing is getting to the end. And there are these parts where there's just nothing but spoken dialogue. Anything remotely interesting is just told to you and never shown. Like the fact that Sonic was being tortured for 6 months! But looking completely fine when we saw him. Make up your damn mind, writers! And don't get me started on this scene where your avatar gets scared. Then remember these words from Sonic.
Hey, don't be scared. This is your moment to shine. Keep going. Don't let your fear own you.
Sonic never said any of this. I know that Sonic doesn't really need to be this dark and all that stuff, but if you're gonna hype it up, at the very least, you've got to deliver it, bro.
I agree about Classic Sonic. They honestly just brought him back to be another Helper / edition. Nothing about him has changed ever since Generations. I felt like they brought him back just for fan service and whatnot, but that's just me. Not saying I'm not happy to see him back, but he should at least have some new improvements, or at least new features if he was returning. Aside from all this, can we just talk about Knuckles being the commander? No, don't get me wrong. I love Knuckles all the way through. I love him. He's like my homeboy, my boy, my buddy. Ain't no one gonna talk shit on him. But I need to be honest. He is just not fitting to be commander. He relies on the rookie to handle most of the dangerous things, and I don't even think he expected him to actually succeed on that despite the rest of the Sonic forces not really doing anything to stop Infinite and Eggman from their wicked schemes. And yet the rookie is still the only hope. At this point, rookie is an understatement. Even after all the Avatar has done to save the world along with the Sonics, Knuckles still called him a rookie. My guy. Are you high?
Admittedly, the game looks fine. Just fine. I could easily pick on the animation or the fact that there's no idle animation for modern Sonic. How does he have less than the Avatar? But honestly, I'd probably have to look really close to notice anything. At the very least, it's better looking than Mortal Kombat 9. God, why Shimoda? However, I do honestly really like the music in this game. Not all of it, but I enjoyed the soundtrack, from the lyrical pieces to the weird sound in Green Hill Zone. Yes, I know, I'm weird.
Sound effects are alright, the animation is cool, but I really felt like they could have at least put some CGI in there. I don't remember the last time they actually did something like that for a cutscene in any Sonic game for that matter. At least we got one for the trailer. I mean, that's better than nothing, right? I love the soundtrack. People can talk down about the story and jokes all they want, but the music is always good. To me, that is. I don't give a what y'all think.
The Red Rings are back too. This time, collecting them doesn't give you Super Sonic or any concept art of any kind. Instead, they unlock some bonus stages which, well, as a reward, they're not very good. However, on their own as bonus stages, they're fun enough. They play like Sonic Colors more or less. And honestly, with the way they're treated, it's good. But after you collected the red rings, you can now collect the numbered rings where you collect them in a certain order. After that, it's the moon rings where you collect them all in a short amount of time. Both of them, by the way, unlock nothing but PS trophies. And that means, theoretically, if you want to 100% the game, you have no choice but to play each stage 3 times. No thanks.
And now with that covered, let's talk about the bosses now. And what good boss may we start off with other than Zavok? My biggest headache of the entire game. Yeah, I said it. He's the first boss that you will battle after when Sonic is free. I spent like 3 hours trying to figure out how to beat this damn guy, when really this shit was seriously that simple. All you really have to do is dodge all the robots, watch Zavok's levitating shadow flow over you before he tries stomping to crush you, and here's a good part. Make sure you be in front of him and do not jump at all. I spent so f***ing long trying to figure out that shit for Mary, the first goddamn boss. After that shit happens, you press X 3 times to give him damage, and you basically keep that up until he reaches his last health percentage. Yeah, I know, pretty easy, I get that, leave me alone. On the way though, the stage will become smaller the more HP you take from him, and you will have less space to fight. Be on your guard.
It's an alright part, but it is pretty flawed. Or at least it shows the flaws of the game. The homing attack doesn't really work in the 3D space, which is honestly sad to see. Also, Zavok. He's the most meh Sonic character I've ever seen. And the rest of the bosses are nothing interesting. All of modern Sonic's bosses are running forward and homing attack. Classic Sonic is the boss with the Egg Dragoon. Again. And the most interesting part is the fact where you get hit by infinite attacks. You get transported to an illusion where the attacks are harder to dodge. But that's the only praise I can give them. At least give me Chaos or Shadow! Dude! And before we get to the end game, I need to get the rest of the negatives off my chest. Not to rant mode, but I just need to get this out of the way. The quick time events are very easy. I keep unlocking stuff too often and it gets to the point where I just want to move on, man. And the death eggs. They're everywhere in the background and even at the reveal of the game. But you never find them, not even once. The closest thing we got was that one quick time event. And that's it. And the cast constantly talks about them on the radio like they're the biggest threat or something. Imagine a whole stage where you take them all down at once, badass style. So, let's wrap things up. I don't want to talk about this any longer. So, you did some things, destroyed the death egg, time for the final battle. And by that, I mean a couple more levels to do. Yay! I should also mention that Classic Sonic's last stage is an auto-scroller. A freaking auto-scroller. In a Sonic game. Again, 8-bit gets a pass. And any of the tornado stuff. And this boss doesn't count. Shut up, it's still annoying. Especially with these weird physics. So Eggman, Infinite, and the Illusions summon a giant sun. And then the Avatar uses the prototype of the Phantom Ruby to make it disappear. I'm not gonna explain that crap. Apparently Infinite's not even using the Phantom Ruby, it's just another prototype. Eh? So we fight Infinite and he disappears? What? And then we fight Eggman in this Phantom Ruby powered robot. Then gets sent to no space with the Sonic Colors final boss, which they also reused for Sonic Lost World. They win, Classic Sonic screws off to someplace else, so does the Avatar. The freaking end. So, Sonic Forces. What do we think? Well, I don't know about you, but the game still sucks. Don't get me wrong, it isn't the worst game out there, that's still eco. And it's not as broken as Sonic 06, Sonic Colors Ultimate, or even the GBA port of Sonic 1. But in my opinion at least, it's my least favorite Sonic game. See what you will about 06 or Colors, at least I can get some enjoyment out of them. I suppose this is all because of me being hyped for the game and being let down super hard. Kinda similar to, say, Banjo-Kazooie Nuts and Bolts, or Metroid Prime Federation Force. This whole game could have been great, especially for the last boost game to end things off before Frontiers. All of that wasted potential. The story, the gameplay, just everything. Look, if you still like this game, then that's fine. I still like Halo, so who am I to judge? But my opinions on this game remains unchanged.
The game does have a neat story though. Everything was getting interesting to me until episode Shadow. They shouldn't have even made this episode at this point because they reveal Infinite's true origin, and I'm not so sure everyone was quite fond of that. Excluding the comic book, they honestly could have just taken the plot point from the comics into the actual game where this motherfucker actually debuted in.
I am not weak. I'm not weak. I am not weak.
Okay, that really ruined Infinite. He was better off being seen as a presumed creation by Eggman in his laboratory from the beginning, and stayed in that thought. But aside from Infinite, the game is about 8 out of 10. For my scaling, underrated opinion, but this is one of my favorite games. Not the best game, but it can still be enjoyable.
Oh yeah, the DLC. Boy, what a... Woo! So, Episode Shadow, which includes 3 stages. None of them are new. Green Hill! While the fact we can play Shadow again is amazing, they don't really do anything with him. Like Zappy Sap said, we see Infinite being beaten up by Shadow and then has a tantrum. Spider-Man 3 does it better. Great movie, by the way. I freaking love Emo Parker. And after that, you get to play as Shadow as a skin swap. And then Supersonic as DLC. You can just download it, and there you go. No longer a reward. I mean, he plays like Supersonic, but man.
Top 3 racing potential in Sonic Forces. Supersonic had no purpose in the story. So if there was never a need for that transformation in the game, then why the f*** would Sega put Supersonic in this game as DLC? It is pointless. Why would one of the best yet most reoccurring additions to the Sonic series be a DLC? That never happened before. So why Forces of all games, huh? Sonic really forced me to play this game. I hate this game. I hate this goddamn game.
You think that's bad? Well, did you know it was originally gonna be paid DLC?
Ugh, all the more reason why this game sucks. I'm not paying money for that shit. Sega, you've gone wild this time.
Wait a minute. Did I hear that correctly? Do my ears lie to my brain? This game sucks?
Oh, never mind. At least it was fun with the story and gameplay on my end.
Oh yeah, I nearly forgot about the Switch ports. Man, to think Forces runs better on the Switch than Colors Ultimate. In all seriousness, the game runs pretty decently for a Switch port. The game runs at 30 frames and there's a bit of blurriness, but if you want to play the game, like Shadow, this isn't a bad option. I should also point out that on my PS5, the cutscenes audio are out of sync. I'm not sure if it's to do with the PS4 copy or the PS5 console, but yeah. Wow, Christmas already? How did this review take so long? It's a 3-hour game.
Yeah, beats me, I guess. Probably a lot to criticize or something.
Hey, ain't my fault the game sucks. Though, I honestly never knew you liked the game, yet we still collabed on it. Hope my opinions didn't upset you or anything.
What opinions? I didn't even pay attention. I was so busy playing the game I totally got lost in terms of track. My bad. What'd you say?
Well, thanks for joining in. It's been a long while. But if I'm gonna be honest, I do kinda miss Shimoda and Selva. Do you think I went too far with them?
I mean, I kinda did hear some screaming from the other side of the country, and I don't even know what that was about. Well, perhaps you should just schedule a meet with them and make up.
Yeah, I suppose you're right. Now you might want to stand back. Now, which game should I play next?
Heyo, everybody! Sup, suckers? I'm here too.
I'm busy. I'm working on stuff.
Well, it's been fun. Until next time, keep it shady. I'm gonna let myself out here.
Hey guys.
Well, glad to see that worked and you're back to normal. Again.
Gee, really? I thought he wasn't any different. He looks like a retro.
I suppose.
I'm sorry guys. I know I was mad, but it was wrong of me to send you to hell.
It's okay.
I'm still sending you to hell.
I wasn't sent to hell. I don't even know what I am doing here. Just hanging out with you lads.
Oh yeah, you also wanted some screwdrivers for your Gundam?
Oh yeah, that too.
Man, I missed out on a lot. I really missed you guys. But there's one thing I don't get. Silver, what were you playing on Switch? Mario?
I was playing Grand Theft Auto. The definitive edition. Yeah.
You can't keep up this charade forever, Silver.
Sooner or later, it's going to find out.
Wait, didn't that...
Hey Retro, wanna do a Knuckles counter? It's been a long time since you last done it.
What? What? No, you promise you won't do that again?
Sure, why not?
I'm out of here, I'm going to my Gundam. See ya!
Knuckles and Knuckles and Knuckles, Knuckles, Knuckles and Knuckles, 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 Knuckles,
Knuckles and Knuckles, Knuckles. Knuckles, Knuckles,
Knuckles and Knuckles, Knuckles,
Knuckles,
Knuckles,
Knuckles is Knuckles, Knuckles
and Knuckles,
the Knuckles is
Knuckles, Knuckles, Knuckles and Knuckles and Knuckles,
Knuckles,
Knuckles and Knuckles and Knuckles, Knuckles,
Knuckles, Knuckles,
and Knuckles, Knuckles and Knuckles, the Knuckles, Knuckles, Knuckles and Knuckles, Knuckles and Knuckles
And Knuckles and Knuckles.
Knuckles,
Knuckle.
and Knuckles,
Knuckles, Knuckles, Knuckles.
wanna do a Knuckles counter?